negotiations with the militant group.
Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer. President Trump also talked last night about Russia's war in Ukraine. He's also trying to stop that, telling reporters after returning from New York.
Certain European leaders are coming over to our country on Monday or Tuesday, and individually. And I think we're going to get that settled.
Well, this was after hours after Russia had launched its biggest drone and missile attack of the war. Most of them were shot down, but at least 4 Ukrainians were killed, dozens injured. President Trump also tells reporters he'll decide in the next day or two about sending National Guard troops to Chicago to fight crime like his crackdown in Washington, D.C., and it follows a controversial Truth Social message.
That post said in part, Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War, referring to the name change for the Defense Department. President Trump says, though, what he meant was he wants to clean up the city, calling that common sense, not war.
That's Fox's Madeline Rivera. There were protests over the weekend as Democrats push back on the president, saying crime is down in recent years in Chicago. America's listening to Fox News.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're a different kind of wireless company dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Because let's face it, our needs are different. Big wireless unlimited plans are designed for 20-somethings, not us. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on one thing, bringing you affordable, reliable rate plans that suit your needs, not ours. How do we do that? We start by using the same towers as the big guys, the exact same towers. We then create rate plans designed for your usage. The fact is, we can offer you an unlimited plan with the same network quality for less because we understand how you use wireless services. Our plans start at just $20 a month. And forget trying to chat with robots. You'll get 100% US-based award-winning customer service when you need help. Come find out how wireless should be and join the millions who've made the switch.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, buddy. It is Los and Tug and the whole hee-haw gang on a Monday, and the fan is, dude, that feels fantastic. No pun intended. That fan feels fantastic.
I took a fan from down the hall.
Yes.
I just figured I'd turn it on and blow it in your face.
Yes, I need it this morning, man. Goodness gracious.
This is going to help you?
My sinuses and allergies are exploding. I just got snot everywhere.
This will give you fresh air the entire time of the show.
I need it.
But now, because I don't agree with what you're doing, I'm turning it off.
Whoa. What do you mean? What do you mean you don't agree?
See, this is how. This is going to be very...
We mean you didn't turn it off, you turned it up.
Oh no.
You went the exact opposite direction.
This is going to be very reward-oriented this morning.
Okay, all right, I like it.
When I feel like you're doing the right thing, fan on, air for Tug.
Okay, all right, I like it. Well,
does bad stuff, no air for Tug.
That's right, dude. That's the worst.
Then you're going to be looking like Total Recall. Your eyes going to be popping out of your head. You're going to be all like, oh, my God.
I love it. I think the merit-based system is the way to go because it's always, you're always encouraged to do right and win.
That's right. Thank you, Ryobi. Right?
That's right.
The Ryobi, wind tunnel fan, the Whisper Series fan.
Yeah, that's the small one. That one over there, the 40 watt or whatever.
That's the giant one.
Dude, that thing could knock over. That thing's like
I'm really impressed by this stuff. Like, I've never considered wanting to buy it now. I've been like, I want to buy this stuff.
Dude, it's great, especially with y'all, especially this guy right here.
Yeah, that's
with
great.
y'all going to, like, a volleyball matches,
Yeah, just
get a little stagnant in there, and that air in there, boy, you just hold that thing right next to you.
Quite like, 20-some girls on a court all smell like the Dickens, and you're like, oh, God.
No, that's right.
We need some air in here.
Yes, exactly right. Well, let me tell you, dude, trip to Athens went well.
Let's start there.
With the exception of Georgia played damn it.
Let's start there. Because Friday night was really the start of the trip. All right?
Friday night was, I was banged up on Friday.
Friday, so I thank you, by the way, because I was having to run a whole bunch of errands, and you would let me know, like, hey, it's Austin Peay. We got a ticket if you need one.
Yeah.
I tried to get out of a practice. The problem is it corresponded with my wife getting her hair done.
Well, you can't do that.
And so...
You cannot miss that one. Happy wife, happy life.
And let's face it, I think she books them like 3 months ahead of time.
They all do. Yeah. Because
that's what it is.
You have to because of the scheduling so tight.
So I'm trying to get out of that practice. The family that I was helping out loved them dearly. They had their youngest who had a football game. And so it just kind of fell in the way where I was like, all right, it's what it is. I'll go take them to practice. But the Friday night, the night before on Friday night, I'm exchanging text messages with Tug, and I told him, I'm like, you need to chase the dragon.
Buddy.
And I'm getting updates of pictures of the bottle of bourbon with your cousin.
The old Eagle Rare.
The Eagle Rare.
Yeah.
And it's like halfway done.
That's good stuff.
Dude, it is so good.
At halfway, I'm challenging Tug. Like, dude, it's like, aren't y'all dudes?
Yeah, well, what's the holdup?
Why is there only... And then like an hour later, it's down to like maybe a little bit less than a third. And then he sends me a picture like an hour later and it's gone.
Done.
The entire bottle.
And it goes down so easy and so smooth. And it wasn't like you tore out of the frame, man. It was like a nice steady buzz the whole evening. I don't know if that's just a...
oh yeah, your text messages look normal.
Yeah, well, I never felt out of control. I never felt like I was going to fall into the bushes, or anything like that. But I don't know that I've ever drank Eagle Rare, and my cousin Nick brought it up, and we went out to dinner with we'd already had dinner plans.
Oh yeah,
and my cousin Nick came along, and we just went to a friend's house, and there was a group of probably 10 of us all together, just throwing chicken on the grill and burger on the grill. And that Eagle Rare went down so easy, and it was surprising how quickly it was gone.
So let's move to Saturday, because Saturday Georgia has the game going on. It's a 3:30 kickoff. I start watching game day. Within about 45 minutes, I've been texting back and forth with Tug, and he's with it. Like we're not talking about hurting from the day before.
No.
And I end up texting you that you've been stolen from because of inclement weather, the games have moved to 2:30.
That's exactly right. So,
and the game also ended up having a rain delay.
Like a 2-hour rain delay. So you're sitting in there and you're thinking, okay, this is just one of those things because it's going into halftime.
Hold on. Did y'all tailgate somewhere? Did y'all go out to something? Like, what did y'all just show up on campus and go?
Basically went straight to the hotel because Nick had gotten a hotel.
Okay.
So when it moved up an hour, he left early to get over there because he had crashed at our house, and he's such a quirky dude anyway. He was like, I went and got breakfast, and then I went and washed my truck, and I just drove to Athens. I was like, well, all right. Okay.
Okay.
And he was going to leave there to go to North Carolina, so we were going to ride together anyway. And then I'm sitting there eating breakfast at our house when we get the notification that the game had been moved up an hour earlier. It's like, oh, no. So I'm like, all right, let me get in the truck, roll over there. I think I get into town. Traffic was brutal, and it's an Austin Peay game, so I didn't expect traffic to be brutal. But with the change in time, then it bottlenecked.
Everybody's coming in.
So it pushed me crazy late. I don't think I got into Athens until like 12:30. I guess
you did that wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I make it a point. I don't care what time kickoff is. I'm going to be on campus at the tailgate by 7 a.m.
Yeah,
because that's the only way, in my opinion, to be able to get in relatively. Without having to really pull all my hair out.
Yep.
And then I'll figure it out how to get out of there.
Yeah. So we just hit all the hot spots, hit the Arch, hit the Chapel Bell, but the bookstore and all that sort of stuff. And Nick, probably gave his wife a heart attack with how much he spent.
Did Nick smokes with cigarettes?
No, I don't think I've ever seen him. I'm not saying he doesn't, but I don't think I've ever seen him.
Just wanted to see if he was going to do hood rat things.
I just turned right into it. No, and then so we get into the game and we sat with the folks from a Second Chance Bail Bonds, which was great.
Oh, great.
Yeah, those guys are great. Love Jesse. And his wife and sweet daughter was there. His daughter about the same age as your oldest.
Nice.
And so much fun, but it was hotter than Hades.
What about the delay? Like, was that a problem? Because it did look like, and again, this is from television because I'm a common man. I don't go to games in the way that Sweet Tug does.
No, come on now.
Suite.
Come on.
Tug goes. It looked like 25 to 30% of the crowd didn't come back.
Oh, I bet it's more than that.
It did look like the building nearly emptied out.
It was right before halftime, and you're thinking, because we sat through what would be a normal halftime, like the 15 minutes. And then you start noticing that there's lightning in the distance. And then you start noticing that the clouds are gathering and super ominous. So there's no way that this is going. And there was like a 2-hour delay. And they had to start back up to 6:04, 6:05, something like that. And so we decide to go ahead and leave the stadium. And you could go back in. They're like, hey, just flash your ticket. You can go back in. I guess they anticipated that most people weren't going to come back. But so we're walking out of the stadium to we're like, let's go to a bar and grab a drink and hang out and whatever. As we get to, and I don't know the cross section or the cross street well enough outside of the stadium, but there is one street that has, several streets that have huge hills that go up to Broad. And there was this man in a wheelchair and his wife, and they looked to be in their early to mid 60s, and the rain has started, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going to get drenched. I was like, can we help you? And this woman was like, oh my God, thank you.
Oh,
thank
that's
you.
awesome.
So let me tell you, by the end, I could have thrown up by the time I got to the top of that hill, though. I was out of breath,
But what if it turns out, we've talked about this in the past, when people have approached you at ball games, you might be ready to sock them one, and then you think, what if it's Jesus?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
And maybe
this might have been.
Maybe that was the case.
This might have been.
And you were able to get that wheelchair up the hill.
He was so appreciative. She was so appreciative. And there's no way you could just leave them.
Oh, no, of course not.
You'd be surprised how many people will walk right by them. And so I just asked, I was like, can I, and they were very grateful. But I'm not telling, I'm not in any.
Were you sweating everything by the time you got to the top of the hill?
Holy cow. And then the rain, too, you couldn't tell because the rain had started coming down. And we got them over right to their parking area and turned them loose. And then we went into a bar and just we were watching, the other games, whatever.
All right, so let me ask you that, though, because that's always the critical element when it comes to being in college town. But, when it comes to Athens, it's what my wife and I are always having to judge. We'll walk in somewhere, we try to find other adults.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Which is cool. I have no problem with the college kids doing their drinking and everything else like that. But it's almost like, let me find my one little section where there's a couple of other adults, and this is what we're doing.
Let's not don't look like the creepers. And it's two dudes instead of a husband and wife, so it's even worse. But but with the rain, it changed every dynamic. So there were just all sorts of people from all cross sections of life in every bar that you could get in because the rain came. Dude, it was a damn monsoon.
Now, let me ask you this, too, because this is something that my wife and I bring up on a regular basis. We tell my 14-year-old, because now my 14-year-old goes to football games and she's really into it, and we tell her about what her future's going to look like. And we just tell her, because every now and then she'll be like, well, what do you mean I need boots? And I'm like, well, you pretty much need a sundress and cowboy boots.
Yeah, that's
pretty much the issue. I just want to make sure that is still the standard issue costume.
Nothing has changed
for all football games.
Absolutely not. There is nothing that's changed. That's exactly what.
Because that's something for Nick. You can be like, here, Nick, this is what you're going to see.
That's exactly right. And he's been to a bunch of Georgia. He's just never the ones in Athens. He's been to because he lives in Orlando, so he goes up to the cocktail party every year and. He's gone to Alabama to see him play, to see Georgia play, and last year did not turn out all that well. Ole Miss. So he's seen the way it lays out. So he was well versed in that part. But it was even though it didn't turn out all that great, with the rain delay, they still won. Great. Then they dropped 2 places.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
None of it matters.
It does not matter whatsoever. But
I was about to turn the fan back on for you, but then when you said drop 2 places, I was like, you didn't earn that.
Yeah, that's right. No, it totally doesn't matter. As long as you're in the top 12, man, who cares?
It doesn't matter. None of this stuff.
Whatsoever.
What's going to happen? Georgia plays at Tennessee.
Yeah.
Huge
Show
game.
up there.
You're going to end up having Texas at home, Alabama at home, Ole Miss at home. Take care of your business.
And you're good.
You can go 10-2 and you're fine.
Yeah.
You're going in. It's totally fine.
Going to be a fun season, a good season for sure. But I can't wait to get back over there and maybe actually see a full game. That would be nice. But, dude, we went to Stoner's and at a place I'd never been before, Stoner's Pizza. So good. It's a relatively new spot in Athens, they told us.
Okay.
We were trying to get into Mellow Mushroom, just starving to death and wanted a drink and whatever. And Mellows, got a 45-minute wait. We walked right up into Stoner's, the new joint, and liked it so well. We just camped out there for a couple hours, eating and drinking and watching the Florida game.
All right, so while you're dealing with that, you also have Georgia Tech and Gardner-Webb, which the score looked like it was supposed to be, but that game was real slow for Tech to get going. So that was just
I didn't even see any of that.
You also had Clemson, who was losing to Troy. Yeah. They were down like 17-0 to start. Again, huge weather delay there. So that's like 2 hours. Like the theme across the Southeast was weather delay, not playing well. And then came Florida and South Florida.
Holy cow.
And Martin Grammatica's kid, so let you know how old you are when Martin Grammatica, who used to kick at Kansas State and kicked in the NFL for years.
Automatica, they used to call him.
His son is at South Florida, which, by the way, was where his brother Bill Grammatica went. This is how old I am. This is how nerdy I am. Leave me alone. You then had him kick the game-winning field goal against Florida. And by the time that you're walking out of Sanford Stadium and hitting over the pizza joint and do your thing, people in Gainesville are trying to figure out how to fire Billy Napier while you're just like going, well, it was a tough afternoon.
Yeah, dude. We got to Stoners in time to see the last bit of that game, so we saw the field
crazy
goal.
Drive to end it.
Holy cow! And you kept thinking that Napier's going to call timeout to try to preserve some kind of clock.
It was very awkward the way the clock management went.
I was just
he didn't burn one until it was right before the kick, and you're like, why are you doing it now?
Like, what is that going to do?
Like, you already lost 90 seconds worth of time.
I couldn't believe it, and I'm no football genius by any means, but I was like, dude, why is he not calling a timeout and preserving a little clock? And maybe, but they couldn't stop South Florida. It didn't matter. Maybe that was his thinking. He was like, hell, we can't stop them anyway.
They came right back down the field. They grabbed a lead, and then here came South Florida.
Dude, it was, it was quite humorous.
And then Sunday rolls around.
Oh, Lord.
And I got paid off in a way that somebody who observes the Falcons can only get paid off. Because there are elements that I bring up with that team. I have talked about their kicker for the longest amount of time, saying inside of 50 yards is supposed to be automatic in the NFL. Like, if you're not hitting 95% of your kicks inside of 50 yards, we have a problem. Again, 39 and in,
from 50 yards
automatic.
in college, easy.
Yes, like you now have guys that are booming it from 55. I routinely watch Cowboy games where they line up from 58, and I'm like, it's going in. I was like, this guy's going to hammer this thing here. The fact that you don't get that with Younghoe Koo means he has to be automatic from 49 and in. And for him to miss from 44 after banging it off the upright from like 42... I think the tweet at this point has been retweeted or liked or whatever like 63 times. Like I've had my little viral moment pointing out he's 8 of 14 the last 2 years.
Jeez.
That's barely over 500.
So when do they make the change? Because they can't continue like this. Is it salary? Is it payroll? Is it something?
No, you can cut them out.
People
right.
don't know.
You can cut them out right. You just have to understand that you're not going to bring in somebody who's banging it from 50. Like,
so you're just stuck.
Last night, I don't know if anybody in this around here watched the Bills and Ravens. Anybody stay up for that?
Oh,
okay,
Dre,
so Dre stayed up for that one.
Look at those.
Dude, I was ready to go to bed, and I was just looking at it. I was like, 41-25 or 40-25.
40-25.
There's a possibility here.
16 unanswered in about 5 minutes.
Wow.
It was an incredible end of the game. And who finished that out was Matt Prater, who's 41 years old. Now, Matt Prater is not hitting field goals from 55 yards. Not hitting them from 50 yards.
But 49 in.
But he's a pro when it comes to 49 and in. It was like, not a problem. It's going through the uprights. That game, as I posted last night, it was drunk. Like, it was crazy.
I saw your post.
It was nuts. I was like, this game is drunk. I was going to go to bed, too. I was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I was, like, fading, going like, why am I still staying up watching this?
And then you're glad you did.
I might as well just hang in
Derrick Henry puts it on the ground, and it's like, all right, let's see.
Derrick Henry fumbles to get them to a position where, all right, now they can perhaps get it close. And they do. They get it within a point, basically. And then the Bills end up forcing basically a 3-and-out, burn all their timeouts, get the ball one more time, go right back down the field.
There you go. And it's
Crazy
a done
game.
deal. What a great football weekend, man. Some ups, some downs, some crazy weather, some crazy games, some crazy wins, some crazy losses. It's everything you can ask for, right?
I can only tell you. Just
that deserves the fan, doesn't it?
Well, okay. Give me a little bit of fan on that one. I'm just going to let you know, because you told me one time several months ago about your Sonos issue.
Oh, yeah.
I might have gotten into one. Maybe a little bit later this hour or next hour.
Okay. Dude,
I got a Sonos issue.
Do you know how many people I've turned on to the Sonos? So 3 of the 5 people in our friend group have bought Sonos. And my cousin Nick, he was like, hey, send me that stuff you got. I really like it. So if you're getting on board too, that'd be like, That's like 5 people. Sonos should be sending me checks.
It sent me on a little bit of a circus.
Dude,
I'll just point that out.
Dude, Sonos is so great. Well, we'll see if we can help that. But let's talk to Rich McCormick next. Of course, representing Georgia's 7th District from the House of Representatives. Next on Extra 106.3.
The Morning Extra has you covered until 10 a.m. Then it's Glenn Beck, Clay Travis, and Buck Sexton at noon, and The Kimmer Show taking over at 3, only on Extra 106.3.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Atlanta without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Atlanta for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FLIP to 64,000. Atlanta is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Atlanta and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FLIP to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FLIP to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FLIP to 64,000.
If you've been waiting for the right time to make the switch to electric, this is it. At Jim Ellis Chevrolet, limited time incentives on select EVs are here now, but only through September 30th, 2025.
That means if you've had your eye on an electric car, this could be your last chance to save thousands of dollars.
Whether it's the all-new Chevy Blazer EV, the powerful Silverado EV, or something in between, now's the time to plug in and move forward.
Plus, at Jim Ellis Chevrolet, we make the switch easy with expert guidance, flexible financing, and a friendly team ready to help you every step of the way.
Don't wait. Visit Jim Ellis Chevrolet today or head to JimEllisChevrolet.com to find out more. But hurry, these savings disappear after September 30th. Jim Ellis Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Jim Ellis, expect the best. Hey, Atlanta Braves fans, this is Kelly Kroll asking you to step up to the plate for the men and women who have served our country and protected our freedom. The Warrior Alliance, an official community partner of the Atlanta Braves and the Atlanta Braves Foundation, is helping thousands of veterans to achieve success after military service. Either you or someone you know has served and deserves our support. The best way to say thank you for your service is by helping a veteran round the bases on their journey home. Donate today at thewarrioralliance.org.
Hi, I'm Chris Lalamia, owner of the Trusted Toolbox. Got a to-do list a mile long? No problem. We've got the ultimate solution, our Handyman for a Day program. Here's how it works. You get a skilled handyman dedicated to knocking out your honey-do list. Paint touch-ups, drywall repairs, door adjustments, and much more, all done in one day. Call us now before the rush for your Handyman for a Day and call us at 770-623-3097 or visit us at thetrustedtoolbox.com. One call, one handyman, one day, The Trusted Toolbox.
There are nut jobs on the road. Who knows where they learn to drive? If one of them hits you, don't take care of it on your own. Call my friend David Van Sant, 855-GA-INJURY. Van Sant Law, one of Georgia's top-rated personal injury lawyers and car accident firms. Time is of the essence. Don't waste any. The longer you wait to get the right lawyer, the longer it takes to get the compensation you deserve. Call Van Sant Law today. The number is 855-GA-INJURY. VanSantLaw.com.
Hey, it's Los. We're here with Tom Mitchell, the honest car guy. Tom, I'm looking for a reliable vehicle, something for the family, but also for my daughter who's going to be driving soon. Why should I call you?
The main thing is you get to see it's a full transparency sale. What I like to do is show you the whole gamut, show you everything that's out there and everything that's available. I can get any make, any year, any model.
Financing. If I need to use it, what can you offer?
We have some of the best banks available, and we got rates starting at 4.99 from a 23 model and above. It could be a 14 model. We still have banks that will do all the financing for you at good rates, and they're primary banks. If you have credit issues, we still have banks that can accommodate those issues as well.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW Show Me One. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Monday, September 8th. More than 300 South Korean nationals were detained during an ICE raid at the Hyundai electric vehicle plant in Georgia. The South Korean government is negotiating their release and return home. ICE officials said many of the workers had crossed the U.S. border illegally and others were here on expired visas. The FBI is offering a $10,000 reward for information on a Kennesaw man connected to assaults on government facilities. Ronald Watson, also known by Sarah Watson, Miranda Kyle, and Emily Smith, was convicted of arson and destruction of government property in 2022. Watson was also convicted of assaulting an officer in Oregon. If you have any information, contact the FBI through their website or 1-800-CALL-FBI. And over 1,000 people gathered at Truist Park on Saturday to honor 9/11 first responders in the annual Memorial Stair Climb. Many of the participants were first responders themselves, wearing their full gear as they climbed 110 steps, simulating the 110 flights of stairs 9/11 first responders climbed as the 24th anniversary approaches. Today's weather, mostly sunny and breezy with highs in the low 80s. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10. We are joined by Dr. Rich McCormick. He represents Georgia's 7th Congressional District in the U.S. House of Representatives. Dr. McCormick, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Great to be with you. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. So many things to dive into. There's obviously a lot of discussion about vaccines and the CDC, and we're going to get to some of that stuff because I want to get your valuable insight on it. But moving 10 F-35s down to Puerto Rico seems like a big deal to me. When I see that, I remember when they were moving some assets into the Persian Gulf and adding a second aircraft carrier in the Persian Gulf. That came, a few months before we blew up the nuclear facilities in Iran. We've already seen a little bit of an escalation down off the coast of Venezuela with blowing up the narco drug boat. And when I was in the Navy, we did drug ops down there aboard USS South Carolina. But this seems like a big deal to me. Is there something that folks listening right now should know? People in the state of Georgia should know about the movement that we've just seen.
Well, know that we're at war with the cartels. The gloves are off. They've been basically not punished for their actions, but that it's not the ultimate solution either, because as we ramp this up, we are funding a war against ourselves. We're the ones that pay for the drug cartels. America's funding is like Europe paying for Russia to invade Ukraine. It's the same thing. We're fighting a war against narcotics traffickers that we're funding. Now, let me just tell you the way that we're going to solve this in reality. We can destroy their bad guys. We can kill bad guys. Somebody else will take their spot, because when billions upon billions of dollars are at stake, somebody's going to step in this place and say, I want that easy money. Now, it's a dangerous life, but somebody's going to step up. And it's just you can cut off one head, two more are going to they're going to fight for that next position, and you can have the consolidate. Anybody who's seen the movie, the series Narcos, understands how this works. If you really want to get rid of this, think about how we solved the smoking problem in high schools. We tried to teach kids that cancer would kill them. They didn't believe it. We tried to teach kids that they'll overdose and die. 100,000 kids died a year from drug overdose. They didn't believe. We couldn't convince them that they're mortal, they're going to be hurt. But if you teach kids that by buying cigarettes, you're supporting companies that are giving your grandparents cancer and making massive profit off it, they stop buying it. It ceased to be cool. If you teach kids from the time they're little kids that when you buy drugs, you're supporting rapists, murderers, people who overthrow governments, people who would slit your brother's throat for a dime, it will no longer be cool. It will no longer be about getting high. It will be about supporting evil people. When you get rid of the demand, you'll get rid of the problem. But until we get rid of the demand, we can fight all day long against these bad guys and feel good about what we do by killing bad people. It doesn't solve the problem.
Dr. Richard McCormick is our guest on the Morning Extra, and maybe that is the opportunity with Gen Z. My wife has done studies on them at a corporate level, and they are very cognizant of what's going on in the world. And just as you're saying, when you paint the situation into an area where you say, why are you supporting bad people? Here's what they're doing to your family members. Here's what they're doing to your country. They tend to respond to that more so than don't do this or else you'll die.
And that's exactly why we have a problem with the COVID vaccination. If you say you have to get this, I'm like, no, I don't. I'm an American. Right. I got freedom. But if you teach people, it may be good for you, it may be bad. Let's have an educated conversation. Then there's no longer resistance. It doesn't become politicized. It actually becomes a scientific discussion. Imagine that. Forcing people to do things or telling them they can't do things is not the way to get things done. Educating people, having a conversation about what's good for them, about what's good for society. Most people are moral people. They start to justify their immorality because of however they approach it. But if you literally, and nobody can dispute, you buy drugs, you are supporting murderers. You are supporting child traffickers, human traffickers, people who are feasting off of entire cultures at the expense of their government and prosperity. Shame on you. And once they realize that, it comes to an agreement that I don't want to support evil, they'll stop purchasing, and the cartels will go away.
Do you feel like Gen Z is the first generation to start getting that? Because we're seeing Gen Z drink less, smoke less. Their church attendance is up by 3 times. I think they're the most their generation attends church more than any other. Do you think Gen Z is starting to see that picture because they're trending in a positive direction in every other aspect of their life?
They're also libertarians. It's first generation we have that are truly libertarians. In other words, government, stay out of my private business, stay out of my pocket. Let me achieve what I can achieve. They're actually they're almost the opposite of the millennials. It'll be interesting to see this next generation fight each other as you got one extreme versus the other. One believes that the government is the answer. The other one believes the government is the problem. It's going to be an interesting debate going into the future. But I think if you look historically, this country's been based off of limited government, and I hope that will continue because I believe in you a whole lot more than I believe in government. And I think that's the debate we're having right now.
Dr. Richard McCormick is our guest on the Morning Extra. Tug and I were locked in on watching Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and seeing, the senators grill him in the way that they were. And I think the important part for me was he kept sharing data. And so, to me, I think that was the most important part when he was basically stating, I don't want to recommend something that we don't have data backing it up. What was your take on that as a doctor, seeing, basically what he's been doing when it comes to HHS?
Yeah, so first of all, realize Mark Twain said best, there's lies, there's damn lies, and there's statistics. I've seen data on both sides misused, and I think Mr. Kennedy is very well read. He's read some of the same books I've read. Some of those books are maybe a little bit on the fringe, but he's at least studying. He's at least trying to have an educated conversation rather than a political one, which I like. He wants to be scientifically based. And on a side note, by the way, a little self-serving, the Bobby and Hegseth challenge, the fitness challenge, I'm going to crush everybody on.
Let's go.
Love it.
Right now. But come for me, Mark Wayne Mullen has the best time. I'm going to crush you, Mark. I'm going to crush you by a minute, I promise you.
We talked about him this morning on the show, too, Dr. McCormick. He's awesome. I love that guy.
Friend of mine.
Okay, great.
Great friend of mine. We in the same morning workout program for a while, and I'm going to crush him, and I'm going to rub his nose in it because he challenged me amongst his staff. So here we go. But when you get back to Kennedy, though, I say he's not a doctor. I get it. He's not a healthcare professional. I get it. But he has the ideology that we don't go off a political conversation. We have realistic conversations. And best of all, he wants to empower people to make decisions for themselves that are informed. Instead of the government saying, oh, you have to get a vaccination, saying, here's the benefits, here's the possible detriments. You make your decision with you and your doctor.
Yeah, just give me the data.
And I just heard an advertisement on the radio the other day or TV where they're saying, hey, look, this is punishing kids that, kids are going to get sick. Well, yeah, kids who don't get vaccinations can get sick, but they're acting like they're going to make other people sick. If you're vaccinated and you think it works, obviously it's not going to make you sick. So stop with that kind of talk. They did the same thing with COVID. Well, if you don't do it, you're going to kill me. Wait, I thought you were protected. Either your vaccination works or not. Stop talking like that. Let's not have double logic.
Yeah, just speaking out of both sides of your mouth. Buddy Carter, one of your colleagues, has been on the show a few times, and he said something that stood out to me and Carlos, and I want to see if you get the same reaction. He said, because you brought up doing the morning workout and doing that routine and doing the challenge. Do you see that Democrats, because Buddy said this, Congressman Carter said this, he said, you'd be surprised how many people during morning workouts when I'm in the gym, actually we agree on so many things, and then by the end of the day when they're on TV, they're probably saying something a little bit different than what they just told me during the morning workout. Do you run into that too? Do you see that people come together more often, and then when they get in front of the cameras, they say something completely different?
And I will say this, too. You actually learn, because sometimes your talking points are wrong. That's why I don't do talking points. First of all, they bore me. And having an authentic, scientifically based conversation about what's good for America is what's most important to me. But, but quite frankly, it's not a good winning line when you're in the Democrat Party to say, I agree with Republicans. You're not going to get a Republican out of office by agreeing with them. They're trying to win elections. That's their goal. So, of course, they're not going to agree with you on most things. But they will agree on some things publicly. And actually, that's why we've passed so much legislation. I think we're ranked 12th out of 435 for legislation passed, because I got a million ideas. The question is, what can I actually pass? And a lot of times I need buy-in from Democrats, which means I have to pick things that maybe aren't my favorite, but things I can actually get done. Because it's one thing to message, it's another thing to actually get something passed. That's hard to do.
Dr. Richard McCormick is our guest on the Morning Extra. How weird is it in D.C. right now where even when you find yourself on an 80-20, a 90-10 issue, for instance, public safety, you have the Democrats arguing on behalf of criminals? I have to imagine that if I was a Democrat, not saying that I would ever consider doing it, but if I ever was, I would basically be taking good ideas coming from Republicans or Donald Trump and saying, let me build on these good ideas rather than arguing on the 10 or 20% side.
For the first time in a long time, you're actually having Democrats dissent because they realize how their party has been hijacked by not just socialists, by legitimately Marxist/communist people like AOC, Bernie Sanders, who believe the government is the answer to the very problems that government created, by the way. That is a losing argument, this extremism, where you can take somebody and mutilate them as a child and call that science, as if it has any scientific basis, as if pediatricians ever even said that was... In fact, pediatricians used to be openly against that until Biden made it almost painful, like you have your license threatened if you said anything that was common sense. We lost all common sense, and you could be punished by the government for dissenting by media, by Facebook, by X, well, what used to be Twitter. That stuff was all exposed by Jim Jordan. When you say, oh, we're not getting done, you're not getting any scalps. Yeah, we're having a hard time getting scalps, but we are exposing. That has changed media. It has changed our information flow. And thank God the Democrats keep on picking all the wrong fights, because if they came across as moderates, they'd actually have a chance of winning. But until they decide that they're going to actually come back to the center, remember Obama and Clinton were actually very good on the border. Nobody thinks it's a good idea. Most smart human beings don't believe that an open border is good for American society. It's not, for multiple reasons. Not to mention there's tons of child trafficking and rape on the way up, tons of drugs that harm our community, tons of all kinds of reasons. But as long as they keep on picking these horrible fights, they're going to have a really hard time, no matter what we do, winning any elections.
I don't know that they're going to go back to the center, and we brought this up on the show earlier. Bill de Blasio, former mayor of New York City, said, we need to sound more like Mamdani to win elections. So that tells me, that signals to me that they're embracing that leftist movement. They're embracing, they don't run from socialism and communism anymore. They're basically saying that's what we need to be.
And meanwhile, you got Generation Z doing what?
Becoming more libertarian.
God. Becoming libertarian, going away from government all the way around. Matter of fact, even against some very conservative Republicans who believe, now ironically, church is a very important part of Istanbul, but it doesn't mean that you force any religious beliefs on me. No, of course. But that also means you don't restrict my religious beliefs. And here's the cool thing about this Generation Z. They get it. They want to have opportunity, and unfortunately, because of the way we set ourselves up in our education system, we have some big disadvantages, but we fought back. I mean, it doesn't take a South Park episode to teach you that things are changing in the schools now, and that we actually have some advantages we didn't have before, because COVID exposed all those horrible things going on, and actually parents are getting involved. They're actually changing the curriculum. We're getting back to education. We have a long ways to go on this, by the way. We can reform education to help America into the future generations. It is a great equalizer. It will help poverty and minorities and black community in Georgia, which is 31% of the population, are starting to finally wake up and say, I've been lied. I've been lied to. The government's not the solution. They've been getting in my way. So they want me to rely on the government so that I'll vote for them without ever getting out of the ghetto. Shame on them. And now they get it, and now you're seeing a massive migration in politics, and I love it.
Congressman Dr. Richard McCormick is our guest. I will tell you, we got a chance to speak with our management and our ownership. And as it stands right now, Dr. Rich, we're not sure what UFC fight that Tug and I are going to, but we want to make sure that you're there because we're going to do Radio Row. We're going to have all the guests that are going to go ahead and come on. It's obviously it's a hotbed for people talking about what's going on in the country. Get a chance to talk with fighters and everything else. So at some point we got to coordinate there to where wherever you're at, we want to be there and make sure we get a chance to interview you while we're there.
Man, this is universal. MMA is the fastest growing sport in the world. It's exciting. It's kind of what we all used to love about heavyweight boxers. It's like you're the baddest man on the planet. Now you get to find out who the baddest woman and the man are. It has come so far and is so popular, and it's kind of one of the secrets for Trump, too, by the way. To be friends with Dana White, to actually be on the WWE, it makes you mainstream. And all of a sudden, all these people that used to hate him are like, this guy's kind of with me. He likes the same things I like. It humanizes you. It's kind of like when Obama was doing, fantasy football and stuff like that. You're one of us. I kind of like this dude. He gets it. And MMA is a phenomenal, cool sport.
No kidding, man. It is like nothing that most people have ever seen, and I piggyback on what you're saying, Dr. McCormick, because when all the fighters get done after they've won, the first thing they do is the Trump dance or go find him to celebrate with him, and that's cool, man. There's not many people that can walk in there and be singled out by all the fighters after they win. That's a pretty good torch to carry. So we are going to figure out a way to get credentialed for that 4th of July celebration at the White House. I don't know what the process is, but we're going to figure it out. And I think that's going to be our journey for next year, to be up there with y'all and see all that come down at the White House.
I think it's going to be the biggest deal ever. I literally think they're building a ballroom up there with private funds. It is kind of crazy. I like the fact that it kind of makes the people feel like they're involved.
Yes, sir.
And I know some people think that President Trump is like the Happy Gilmore of politics. He's going to do some things most people don't do. He's going to get in a fight with Bob Barker. He's going to play his bub. Somebody's going to yell jackass while you're taking a swing. And he's going to bring out the new people that haven't been involved in politics in a long time. They're going to have their beer hats on and drinking out of straws. I get it. But at least you're seeing people interested in politics in a fun way, and I love it.
Yes, sir. It's going to be great.
It's fun.
Dr. McCormick, thank you so much. Look forward to talking to you again soon, sir.
Always a pleasure, brother. Semper Fi.
Yes, sir. Dr. Rich McCormick, U.S. Representative for Georgia's 7th District.
The whole idea I've got the helmet on with the beer mugs attached.
And the Happy Gilmore of politics. Dude, the one thing I would say about that, tell me somebody that doesn't love Happy Gilmore. Give me anybody. I don't know anybody.
Jackass.
Jackass. So good, dude. Even Happy Gilmore 2 was good, I thought. I really did, man. I enjoyed it. Never thought that I would, and I did. So good. This is the Morning Extra, and Extra 106.3, Tug and Los until 10, 6 o'clock hour, brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. When we come back, MSNBC are now embracing conspiracy theories about unhealthy foods. This is so great. Next on Extra.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, September 8th. The Atlanta Falcons got beat in the final minute by the division rival Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Mercedes-Benz Stadium yesterday afternoon. The Falcons took a late lead before a late touchdown pass and a mixed extra point put the Falcons down by 3 in the final minute. Falcons kicker Younghoe Koo missed the game-tying field goal from 44 yards out. The Falcons now play the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday Night Football in Minnesota for week 2 of the season. From Major League Baseball, the visiting Seattle Mariners took 2 of 3 from the Atlanta Braves this past weekend, including an ugly 18-2 final on Sunday. The homestand continues as the Chicago Cubs are in town. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear that game live on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Little fall-like weather outside. It felt so nice walking in today. And, when you have weather like this, there's nothing better than opening up those windows at home, letting some of that fresh air come in. I think the high for today is going to be like 79. It's perfect weather for that. Problem is, when you walk over to the windows at your house, if they're painted shut, you're going to be able to open them. You're not going to be able to have that nice breeze coming through the house. I mean, the best you can do is just open the front door wide. No screen on it at all, just bugs all coming. It's terrible. So do yourself a favor. Call Southern Exteriors today. Get some energy-efficient windows that you can actually open and enjoy this fall weather. Reach out to them today. They can get you on the schedule, and they will do the job exactly the way that they promised you they would. They'll have a foreman on site to make sure it goes just as so. Here's how you get them. SouthernExteriors.co, SouthernExteriors.co, or 877-9-SOUTHERN, and they'll give you 10% off of any job, no matter how big the job is, or 12 months, 0% financing. Again, SouthernExteriors.co.
Looking for the perfect car, truck, or SUV? Jim Ellis Buick GMC has you covered. With a huge selection of new and used vehicles, finding the right fit is easy.
Whether it's a Buick Enclave or Envision, a GMC Acadia or Yukon, or the power of the Sierra and Canyon trucks, and the best part, you're never alone in the process.
Their expert sales team helps match you with the right vehicle, while their finance specialists make buying simple and stress-free.
With decades of experience, Jim Ellis Buick GMC understands the importance of offering an expansive inventory that fits every driving performance, style, and budget need. Plus, every new Buick and GMC comes with cutting-edge technology, premium comfort, and advanced safety features so you can drive with confidence.
Already a Buick or GMC owner? Well, keep it running like new with their state-of-the-art service center staffed by factory-trained technicians who know your vehicle inside and out. Start your search at JimEllisBuickGMC.com or shop in person in Chamblee off Peachtree Boulevard, inside the Perimeter, or in Beaufort off Highway 20 near 985. Jim Ellis, Buick GMC, we are professional grade.
Saturday afternoon, it's a huge ACC matchup down on the Flats as Brent Key and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets host Dabo Sweeney and the Clemson Tigers in Atlanta.
Into the end zone, touchdown Jackets!
The Redland Rec Kickoff show's on the air at 10 a.m. Then it's a 12 noon kick from Hyundai Field at Bobby Dodd Stadium, right here on the flagship home of Georgia Tech.
680 The Fan, 93.7 FM, and the Fan app.
Hey Braves Country, Tom Glavine here. Want to drive like a champion? Start with a clean car from Tidal Wave Auto Spa. With cutting-edge equipment and elite customer service, it's more than a car wash, it's a win. Experience the ultimate clean at Tidal Wave Auto Spa, my go-to car wash destination and the official car wash of the Atlanta Braves.
My car is happy, I am happy, Tidal Wave Auto Spa.
Summer is all about making memories, right? Backyard barbecues, road trips, maybe finally getting around to that hiking trail you've been eyeballing. But if you're living with pain, those future memories can be stolen from you. So here's a thought. Call 1-800-4RELIEF and try Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement designed to help your body fight pain. It's a doctor-developed formula made from natural ingredients. Best part? Relief Factor doesn't mask pain. It helps reduce or even eliminate it for good. Whether it's kayaking, running around with the little ones, or just chilling in a hammock, Relief Factor can help you feel better, move better, and do more of the things you love all summer long. So if you're ready to reclaim your summer, head over to ReliefFactor.com or give them a call at 1-800-4RELIEF. Do it now and get their 3-week quick start for just $19.95. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Extra 106.3 personalities aren't afraid to tell it like it is.
Without Donald Trump, nothing that's going on would be happening right now. Donald Trump is changing the world.
And you'll never hear us spew that violent rhetoric from the left. So don't be afraid to tell it like it is. Because we're happy to have you as part of the Extra community.
I particularly like Donald Trump's actions in getting illegal aliens the hell out of this country.
Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Here's something I didn't expect to see. I didn't see this one coming. When MSNBC goes down the route of conspiracy theory, and they do it just so they can go against RFK. This is a genius plan.
Man, I enjoyed this over the weekend. So, the all-out assault. We talked about it on Friday. Thursday was the people versus Big Pharma. That was a theme. RFK Jr. as I'm going to go after Big Pharma. I'm going to deal with all of you senators, which are completely bought and paid for.
Every one of you.
And so then the follow-up was, let's watch the media pile on. Now, credit to Donald Trump. Come Sunday, he's the one standing outside the White House going, no, he's our guy. Like, deal with it. And that's just how it was.
Yeah, that's right. I love it.
But let's move over to MSNBC. And let me give you a little bit of background on this. So the World Health Organization, when they're not giving you crap information about COVID, years ago started giving you information about processed foods.
You mean back when they had credibility still?
Back when they were. And they pointed out these are basically considered carcinogens. Now, here's what the WHO and subsequent studies have all found out. Because of what gets put into processed foods, they're linked to increased risk for cancer, breast cancer, ovarian cancers, and examples include processed meats, bacon, hot dogs, deli meats, and ultra-processed foods such as packaged snacks, pastries, cupcakes, and certain fizzy drinks. Okay? So a diet rich in all of these is problematic for your health.
Yeah.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. brought this up. This is part of
you would
what
expect.
This is part of MAHA.
Yeah.
Hey, if I can maybe give my kid one less Lunchable a week, might be better. I've got her down to maybe like one Lunchable a month. It used to be every day. Okay?
Dude, everybody's been through that battle with kids.
Yes.
If you have kids, you've been through the battle.
All of you who just stuck that Lunchable in there and you're like, oh, I guess I'm trying to feed them cancer, huh?
Well, you're just like, it's easy, it's quick, and then you realize then when you find out like what it's all about, you're like, oh dear God, I've got to it's almost like going through that.
That can't possibly be ham.
No, yeah.
Okay? Like it cannot possibly
It's in a
be
perfect
ham.
circle.
Here's what they made. So listen, this is MSNBC. Now, far be it from me to just look at people and say, oh, my prejudice has come out again. But when you're a woman of size,
right.
when you're a large analyst, I have a problem when you have this to say.
Now RFK Jr. is like, processed foods are bad, but he's not doing it with any research backing it. It's just his wild conspiracy theories, and I'm concerned.
Okay. Oh, she's concerned, Lowe's. She's
Concerned about what he has to say because he's not backed by, I don't know, the World Health Organization had told us like a decade ago that this causes cancer.
It's not like this is even something that anybody has ever argued. I don't remember, in my lifetime, I don't remember anybody ever saying a Lunchable is good for you. A fast food burger is good for you.
Ultra-processed foods are a problem for you.
No one even argues that. So the fact that she's trying to make that argument makes her look
well, it's like a conspiracy theory. No,
it makes you look like a crazy person for pushing back on something that everybody understands.
Not really. No. In fact, whenever you hear the term like food desert, or if you're listening to Kimmer, food dessert, if you happen to be listening to those phrases, all it's saying is that you're lacking quality fruits and vegetables, basically an area, quality food. If you recognize and look around your community and go, why is everybody fat and unhealthy? it might have something to do with the food.
Don't listen to MSNBC because they would tell you it's got to be something else.
No, it's conspiracy.
It's just complete.
It's purely conspiracy theory.
Yeah, it's right there with January 6th and COVID vaccines. It's complete conspiracy.
This is all hearsay.
That's right.
I don't understand what any of this is.
Yeah.
That was the one that got me. It drew me off sides. I went, what do you mean?
You cannot be serious, ma'am. You can't be serious right now. Nobody argues. Everybody understands because everybody knows somebody that eats fast food every day and they're not in great health. I mean, we all know somebody. And maybe you used to be that person and you got turned around and you try to eat more healthy, get a little exercise. I'm doing the same thing. Like, I don't eat fast food. I almost never eat fast food. Once a week at the most. And I'm trying to get into the gym a couple days a week. And I'm no like super health nut by any means, but I just see the value.
It's been about 20 years, 25 years since we had the documentary Super Size Me.
Yep.
And I firmly believed it was fake. I was like, all right, so he ate McDonald's every day, and this is what happened to him. This is how wildly out of shape and wildly fat the guy got. And then he died recently.
And you're like, oh, well.
And I was like, well,
maybe it wasn't fake.
Apparently wasn't a really fake, but
it wasn't a conspiracy.
But that was the moment when, as I'm watching somebody who tried to live strictly on fast food and what it did to them. And I don't know, that always kind of stuck in my mind because for those of us who high school, college, first starting out, let's face it, like the Wendy's dollar menu was a big player for a lot of people.
Yeah.
There was a lot of those menus out there. And then as you got older, you're like, I'm working to make sure I don't kill myself with this food.
Right, dude. 100% correct.
But that's conspiracy theory for MSNBC.
Well, it's how do we say something against the guy that works for Donald Trump? We will take the exact, it's back to, this is not even an 80-20 issue, dude. This is like 95-5.
And by the way, you found this, whether it was Fox News, whether it was CNN, whether it was MSNBC, paid for, backed by Big Pharma, not going to say anything.
Imagine that. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3 when we come back. Two big stories over the weekend, and one enabled the other. Next on Extra.
Live and local news talk continues at 3 p.m. with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. It's the Kimmer Show, only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Yes, the name says windows, but Peach State has been building and restoring Georgia's finest decks for decades. The same quality and attention to detail. When fall hits Georgia, the deck part of the heart of the home. Game day, cookouts, and family dinners, cool evenings under the stars. Here's a problem. Most decks in Atlanta were not built to today's safety and code standards. One bad board, 1 weak railing, suddenly your Saturday night turns into an emergency room visit. Don't risk it. Call the experts at Kimmer Trust, known 25 years. Peach State. Jeff and his team give you a free deck inspection. This is not a sales pitch, an honest safety check from foundation to finish. Need more than a repair? Peach State can build the perfect upgrade. Classic wood, modern composite, or a custom design. 0% financing, no payments till the job is done. Safety and style both affordable. Don't wait. Here's the number, 770-485-8011, or visit PeachStateWindows.com today. Trusted by families, trusted by the Kimmer, trusted for decks that last. PeachStateWindows.com.
Oh no, what is that sound?
It's our rejection detection system. It's showing that several men across Georgia are being denied intimacy by their partners due to ED.
How can this be?
Well, it's more common than you think. As men age, their bodies change. And unfortunately, once they get over 50, some things don't work like they used to.
So what do we do?
There's only one thing to do. We need to get them to Dr. Eric Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. He can fix ED problems.
But how?
At Total Body Therapy of Georgia, they are experts in the P-shot, testosterone replacement, regenerative therapy, and Trimex to create an erection and more.
Hi, this is Dr. Eric Deal from Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Did you know that 50% of men over 50 struggle with some form of ED? Guys, it won't get better on its own. When it's not hard, it's really hard. But I can help you today. Call us at Total Body Therapy of Georgia at 404-777-1911 or learn more about us online at tbtofga.com.
September is Fan Appreciation Month at Truist Park, and you don't want to miss out as the Nationals and Pirates come to town September 22nd through the 28th. Fans can look forward to the Ronald Acuna Jr. bobblehead giveaway presented by Truist, Los Bravos Night powered by Georgia Power, the Kids Club Appreciation Party, and so much more, with tickets starting at just $7. There's a great seat no matter your budget. Head to Braves.com/promos for all the details. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
You're great at protecting your own personal information. You probably even use things like two-factor authentication, strong passwords, VPN. But as much as you try to be in control of how your information is protected, there's lots of places that also have it. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every single second for identity threats. If your identity is stolen, a LifeLock specialist is going to help solve the identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% off your first year with a promo code Beck at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Van Sant Law, VanSantLaw.com.
He'll decide in the next day or two. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what President Trump says about Chicago and if he'll send in National Guard troops like in his crime crackdown in Washington, D.C. This after a controversial Truth Social post over the weekend.
Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War, referring to the name change for the Defense Department. Here's what the president says he meant as Chicago braces for an immigration crackdown.
We're not going to war. We're going to clean up our city. We're going to clean them up so they don't kill 5 people every weekend. That's not war. That's common sense.
State and local officials slammed the post. Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson has been adamant violent crime in the city is down. And indeed, stats from the Chicago Police Department show murder and robbery cases have dropped since 2021. But other crimes, like felony and misdemeanor thefts and motor vehicle thefts, are still up from 4 years ago.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. They'll start to pick a jury this morning in federal court in Florida to put Ryan Ruth on trial. The man charged in the second Trump assassination attempt last year outside the president's golf course in West Palm Beach. Fox's Dana Marie McNichol reports Ruth's defending himself as his own lawyer.
So he has been gearing up for this trial behind bars, expected to take center stage in the federal courtroom starting today. Now, jury selection is expected to take place over the next 3 days. Attorneys plan to question 60 prospective jurors a day. Opening statements are scheduled to begin on Thursday.
Shots fired at a bus stop in Jerusalem this morning in an attack that left 6 people dead and a dozen injured. It was stopped by an Israeli security guard and an armed civilian who shot back and killed the attackers. The day after President Trump told reporters outside Air Force One,
I think we're going to have a deal on Gaza very soon. It's a hell of a problem.
Then he posted on Truth Social, the Israelis have accepted his terms in a potential ceasefire deal for Gaza that would release the remaining hostages. Then he urged Hamas to also agree, adding it's his last warning to accept or face the consequences. America's listening to Fox News.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're a different kind of wireless company dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Because let's face it, our needs are different. Big wireless unlimited plans are designed for 20-somethings, not us. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on one thing, bringing you affordable, reliable rate plans that suit your needs, not ours. How do we do that? We start by using the same towers as the big guys, the exact same towers. We then create rate plans designed for your usage. The fact is, we can offer you an unlimited plan with the same network quality for less because we understand how you use wireless services. Our plans start at just $20 a month. And forget trying to chat with robots. You'll get 100% US-based award-winning customer service when you need help. Come find out how wireless should be and join the millions who've made the switch.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/fax. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
This is Tucker Carlson. You're listening to Atlanta's only conservative talk station, Extra 106.3, worldwide on the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Glad that you're here. 404-741-1230. Add Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms. So many ways to listen. It's so easy to listen. The Extra 106.3 app, extra1063.com. The old school way. Just the traditional 106.3 FM, 12:30 a.m., and any of them will work just fine. But the best way, the most convenient way on the Extra 106.3 app, because you can listen live and on demand. Anything that you've listened to on the show that you would like to go back and hear, or anything you missed, you can go back and listen to on any of our shows, starting with the Morning Extra, and then Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, local afternoon show with the Kimmer, Pete and Flounder, and of course Jesse Kelly.
I'm sorry, I can rejoin you now.
Yeah, I was trying to give you time. You were working on a serious math problem over there. It looks like algebra was going on.
I was just pointing out that Younghoe Koo is 8 of 14 on his last 2 years of field goals from 40 to 49, which is supposed to be automatic.
That's tough.
Which then, and listen, I don't do this to our listeners. Far be it from me to insult our listeners. But I will insult all the sports listeners because they're morons. And so when one person told me, because I was pointing out Younghoe Koo missing the game-tying field goal at the end of the game, a 44-yarder, which is basically a chip shot in the league at this point. You can't possibly miss it. And the only thing that added to it was that when he hit from 40-some yards, he hit the upright and it barely went in. That's not supposed to happen. And so one listener pointed out the 63-yard drive to give it the lead in the final minutes of the game was a massive problem that keeps showing up too, but sure, Koo.
Yeah.
And as I pointed out to him, the Chiefs, Ravens, Jets, Steelers, Seahawks, Buccaneers, and Falcons all gave up final drives. Those teams did hit 6 of 7 on their field goals and were 3 of 3 from 50-plus. I'm not the guy in the next cubicle.
Yeah, that's right.
Just pointing out, everybody else, listen, everybody in the league gives up final drives. Everyone around the league is giving up final drives. It's like, who has the ball last? But you can't have a kicker who misses at this rate.
Well, yeah, with this frequency.
There's no way.
Goodness.
Because if everything is a final drive and the Falcons put one together too, then you got to be able to kick the ball through the uprights at a rate that's not at basically a little over 50% from 40 to 49.
Yeah, that's bad
automatic.
news. It's bad news if you're Younghoe Koo. And I asked Los this earlier this morning. I'm like, what do the Falcons do? Like, how do you overcome this? And there was no good news to be had. Like, who are you going to get?
The best kicker in the league came from the United Football League. All right, like the best kicker in the NFL right now was a guy who was playing MLS soccer as like a 23-year-old and then got signed to kick in the NFL when he was like 27, 28 years old. And he's the best kicker in the league. You can find him, but you got to scout for him and you got to recognize when you have something that doesn't work.
Yeah, well, the Falcons have not done that since this has been going on. And look, I'm not super Falcons fan or anything, but I've known that's been a problem for the Falcons for the last couple of years. It's been clear. Every headline, every story about the Falcons always comes down to missed another kick.
It's a problem.
Big problem.
It's a problem for that team.
You know, I saw this and I expected it was going to blow up, but I thought there were more to it. There was more to it, and there's two stories that kind of melded together, if you ask me. The Karen who took the kids' baseball at the Phillies-Marlins game.
Okay, did she actually lose her job?
I don't know about that.
Because there's all sorts of talk about, and I'm like, it's a weekend.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if she has. And I don't want her to lose her job.
For anybody who didn't see it over the weekend, if you were not on social media, you were taking a break, there was a woman at the Phillies-Marlins game. A ball gets hit. Now, it might be on her row. It might be in front of her row. It's a home run.
Yeah.
And because there's not a lot of people there, a lot of people rushed in to go get the ball.
Like it always happens.
happens.
Yeah, this is nothing new.
And a guy in a Philly shirt snags it, walks back down his row, probably 10, 12 seats, and hands the ball to his son.
Yep.
And she, with her under black hair and Rachel Maddow glasses, black horn rims, comes charging at him. He puts his hands up like what is going on here?
Yeah, startled.
And she ran down the row to complain at him about how you took the ball from me. You took the ball from me.
And so he hands it back to her. He's just like, you know what?
And she goes storming off, right?
Yeah. The internet did its thing.
Now, the Marlins, to their credit, and Harrison Bader, who also was the guy who ended up getting the big hit in that game, they invited the young man, the young kid, who it was his birthday.
Because they see how this has just snowballed viral because this woman is so unhinged over a stinking baseball.
So they give him all sorts of gift stuff.
And
they bring him down to the clubhouse and get signed bats and everything else. So it all worked out great there. But that woman, who then... she had other people that she was arguing with.
Yes.
Like the rest of the stadium was going in on her.
Well, yeah, because everybody saw what happened, and she looks like a crazy person going to snag a ball from like a 10-year-old kid. This woman's 45.
She looks, oh, no way. Like, to me, she looked like that 60-year-old lady who runs your HOA and you can't stand her.
She's much older than the 10-year-old kid.
She's walking. Yeah. She walks the neighborhood, making sure that like your bushes are trimmed,
looking for something to complain to the HOA about. She's that type.
But the internet, while we've said, "Hey, internet, do your thing," I haven't found out enough yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'd like to get to the bottom of this. But this is a good lesson for everybody.
Don't act like an a-hole.
If you think you're about to show your ass,
don't.
Just know that, listen, we've exposed people at Coldplay concerts for cheating, all right? Things end up taking on a life of their own. Act right, and nobody will pay attention to you.
Which is exactly what you want. And then, so you have that story that blew up, and that was, at least I saw it very first thing, early Saturday morning. By Saturday afternoon, everybody knew her name and the fact that I think a couple of people had linked her LinkedIn account to her. And then there was the brutal stabbing murder in Charlotte.
Ooh, brutal.
Unbelievable. Zero media coverage. This is a Ukrainian woman, war refugee.
23 years old.
Beautiful young woman, just minding her business on a light rail train in Charlotte. And this dude who's been arrested 18 or 19 times just decides, I'm going to kill this woman.
Out of nowhere. Like there's no interaction between the two.
None. Zero. And he does. I think these are both examples of the rot that we have to eliminate from society. And the thing that pulled them together for me, because they have nothing to do with each other, is I guarantee you that Karen is a lib who supports cashless bail and votes for people who don't prosecute crime. I guarantee you she's one of them. She's the one, she's the type that rats on you about your hedges not being perfect to the HOA and votes the way she does and basically enables that kind of crime to happen.
I'm glad we've had a 180 from 5 years ago where the good thing to do, the caring thing to do, was cashless bail. And we need to keep people out of the complex that is the prison system. There's private prisons, I mean, all of these matters have now 180'd with the American public. Now, they haven't with your crazy aunt.
No.
Okay?
She's in that 18%, though.
She's still reading the newspaper from 5 years ago.
Yeah.
She doesn't get that what has gone on is that America has had a monstrously awesome backlash towards crime. This is great. There is no reason that these people should exist on the streets. And we're getting back to that 90s point. The 90s point was, listen, it's 3 crimes and they're generally harmless. Yeah, but we're going to put you away for 20 years. Now, I'm looking back saying I've never been arrested. All right, I've never been detained, never been in cuffs, never had an issue. I'm a 45-year-old man going, how has this not happened to me? Because if you act right, you don't run into these problems. Never been tased by a police officer. Never been asked to get out of my car. Never been in a situation where I would say, whoa, that escalated pretty quickly. Now, could it happen? Sure. But I would think
is it likely to happen? No.
But if you act like an adult, you're typically treated like an adult. And that ends up being the difference in what's going on now. These incidences are no longer being treated as like, oh, that was a one-off and it's bad. It's like, no, it's endemic of what is going on in our society. And now there's no longer a tolerance for it. The only people tolerating it are liberals who believe, well, it's just unfair for us to lock people away.
She's one of those libs that are up in D.C. in the spontaneous, air quotes, spontaneous protest over cleaning up D.C.
All white grandmas and grandpas.
Exactly. Spontaneous.
Free D.C. Okay. Yeah.
From what? It has been freed. What? It's been freed from crime. Thank you, Donald Trump.
I got an idea. There's a handful of neighborhoods I can send you to in D.C. because we've driven through them. And I'll be like, why don't you go ask those people how concerned they are and how much they appreciate what you're doing to get in the streets for them.
A little off topic.
Good luck with that.
A little off topic, but kind of along the same lines. I saw this video of Don Lemon, and I don't know who he works for or why he's out there, but
he's on his own.
Yeah, I guess he's doing his own thing. So he's out there and he's talking to people on the streets of Baltimore, which is another city that is just absolutely chaos and there's so much crime there. It's ridiculous. And he's talking to this Muslim man who has his prayer rug with him, and he's thinking, I'm going to get me a great soundbite here.
This one has all, as Don Lemon is he is prejudging the exact stuff. He's like, he checks checks everything. Let me go talk to him.
That's exactly right. And the man says, I wish Donald Trump would bring the National Guard here. Maybe he'd clean up some of these crazy crime-ridden neighborhoods. Don Lemon's like, what? Well, what do you mean? He was like, well, there's crime on every corner. I would like to see there be less crime on every corner. Don Lemon blown away. It's all the same people. The other thing that I want to bring up.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
Because an overwhelming majority of people don't commit crime, which means an overwhelming majority of us don't have any concern with enhanced military presence or police presence.
Because why would you?
I have no problem with this. If you told, it's the same people, it's the same liberal Karens that when I say, yeah, I want armed people outside my school. What, are you making your school a militarized zone?
Yes.
Hell yes.
If it protects my children,
can we put a tank out in front of my school?
Whatever it takes.
Please? Would that be awesome? Would I like to have armed guards at every single entrance because I'm protecting the thing that is most valuable to me and my community? Hell yes.
Count me in. And I guarantee you there will be lots of jokes and great relationships with these school police resource officers, just like you see at schools now. Yes, put guards at every side. And here's the other thing about this, Los. Where are all the Ukrainian flag people? Remember all the people that put the Ukrainian flag up on their Facebook page?
It's weird how you can allow them, you have the support for them when they're killed over there, but when our street thugs kill them here, nothing is said.
Don't say a word. Talking about a pretzeling moment, as you call it.
Yes.
That they hate punishing criminals so much that they're willing to allow their Ukrainian flag to be stained in the process of doing that.
Well, and this was a challenging aspect that I had. While I'm commenting on all things sports, I decided, well, you know what? I'm going to drop in a little political thing in the middle of this. And a handful of people were like, ooh. I ended up putting out the tweet where it says, all the leftists who stand with Ukraine and have the Ukraine flag in their bios are awfully silent right now. And as I put this, I retweeted out and I put a little comment. I said, damn, they actually picked criminals over Ukraine. To be clear, the Ukrainians lost a long time ago, so I get it. Criminals still in the game.
Goodness gracious. It's unbelievable. Man, maybe they need a Marine on those light rail trains.
To think of what happened with Daniel Penny?
They could use one.
To think about what happens when you have Americans that are willing to act. And you saw how he got put through the ringer for dealing with somebody who was crazy, talking about what he was going to do to other people and how he wasn't afraid to die. And yet the Marine just decides, I'm dealing with this person right now. You have to have that inclination, right? But I mean, we've now seen it. This poor young woman basically gets slaughtered on a train, gets stabbed to death, and nobody did a thing. Because it was just easier to stand there.
And then there's when they're writing about it, because we started the segment by telling you there's been a complete media blackout on this. And
you won't hear it anywhere.
Zero stories.
We've been watching MSNBC for now hour and 15 minutes.
Not
nothing.
a mention. There's zero stories in the AP, zero stories in the New York Times, zero stories in the Washington Post, and on and on and on. Back in the day, when Daniel Penny was a thing, there was about 25,000 stories in the New York Times and the mainstream media outlets. So it tells you what they want to focus on. We're going to focus on the things that our leftist roots, our leftist beliefs tell us to focus on. We don't care about this young woman. We want to make sure we have cashless bail. We want to make sure that we're letting people loose after they commit incredibly heinous crimes. They're going to continue doing that. And if somebody stands up, if they dare stand up to help somebody out, we're going after them.
Let me ask you something. You're bringing it back to sports. Bringing it back to sports. So you lose a game like 50-0. Are you really looking to review that tape? Are you really looking to talk about it? That's where the left is. When they have these moments where they're, again, don't judge them by the results, judge them by the intention.
Oh, I know.
The intention is, well, the justice system is unfair and it's racist, and we need to keep these people on the street. All right. Dude has been arrested now 14 times, I believe.
It's a bunch.
14 or 16 times. And so DeCarlos, well, he's been put out there a handful of times. And now that he ends up causing a 50-0 loss, you notice what they're doing. They don't want to talk about it. Yeah. They don't want to review the tape.
Next.
They don't want to see anything about it. They're like, nope, didn't happen.
Yeah.
Just going to pretend like it didn't.
Because if you pretend like it don't, that way the next time it happens, we're like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is the first time.
Meanwhile, DeCarlos gave them the sort of tape they need to probably look at and need to re-examine what their policies are, because every one of these cities, whether it's Don Lemon talking to a guy that you would think, okay, this guy's definitely going to be on my side. You talk to people in these parts of America where they're dealing with this stuff, and they are they're further right than Donald Trump is on this stuff.
Well, because we've discussed this a million times. Donald Trump's not a super conservative.
No.
J.D. Vance is. Donald Trump is not. Donald Trump is a common sense guy. Now that leads him.
And they're further right than Donald Trump is on this stuff. They're like, please bring security to my community.
And Donald Trump looks like an extreme conservative because he's such a common sense guy, and common sense usually puts you in a conservative spot. These people are willing to go fight a kid over a ball and allow crime to happen. One enables the other. This is the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. When we come back, Trump is singing like Tammy Wynette. Stand by your man. Next on Extra.
Stream Atlanta's only conservative voice anywhere you go with the Extra 106.3 app. Now equipped with Apple CarPlay. That means you'll always have Extra's crystal clear HD stream right on your dashboard no matter where you are. Download the all-new Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
Don't just ride apart from the crowd, travel above it. The spacious, sumptuous 7-seat GLS SUV wraps thoughtful innovations in ruggedly elegant style and refined luxury. With a long wheelbase for generous room and a smoother ride, the GLS SUV lets you live large without the bulky driving experience. Get an exceptional offer on the 2025 Mercedes-Benz GLS 450 4MATIC SUV. Just $929 per month for 36 months with $87.33 due at signing exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models during the RBM of Atlanta's fall sales event, now through September 30th. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta, Sandy Springs through September 30th, 2025. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia lemon law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit us at rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Retirement means different things to different people. Some folks want to travel the world. Some folks want to spend more time with grandkids. For me, I'm looking forward to spending more time with my guitar. Whether extravagant and robust or simple and cozy, every retirement needs a plan. You wouldn't take a trip without directions. You have to know where you are before you know where you're going. Master Plan Retirement Consultants have helped many like you plan for their own retirement. Not only does Master Plan help you create the roadmap, they join you on the journey. So whether you want to travel the world, become a pickleball champ, or just looking for a good porch, a sturdy rocking chair, and an acoustic guitar, remember to plan well, because the destination is worth it. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
By texting 64000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Atlanta without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Atlanta for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FLIP to 64,000. Atlanta is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Atlanta and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FLIP to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FLIP to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FLIP to 64,000.
It's September 8th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National Pediatric Hematology and Oncology Nurse Day. As part of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, today is particularly special as it acknowledges those healthcare workers who act as caregivers, counselors, and nurturers for what will probably be the most frightening time for many kids and their families. Also on this date, in 1504, Michelangelo's statue of David is unveiled in Florence, Italy. And in 1966,
Space, a final frontier.
Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock, and the rest of the crew of the Starship Enterprise began their 5-year mission to boldly go where no man has gone before as the classic sci-fi series Star Trek debuted on TV. If it's your birthday today, you share it with actor Peter Sellers, born in 1925, and country singer Patsy Cline, born in 1932. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Monday, September 8th. More than 300 South Korean nationals were detained during an ICE raid at the Hyundai electric vehicle plant in Georgia. The South Korean government is negotiating their release and return home. ICE officials said many of the workers had crossed the U.S. border illegally and others were here on expired visas. The FBI is offering a $10,000 reward for information on a Kennesaw man connected to assaults on government facilities. Ronald Watson, also known by Sarah Watson, Miranda Kyle, and Emily Smith, was convicted of arson and destruction of government property in 2022. Watson was also convicted of assaulting an officer in Oregon. If you have any information, contact the FBI through their website or 1-800-CALL-FBI. And over 1,000 people gathered at Truist Park on Saturday to honor 9/11 first responders in the annual Memorial Stair Climb. Many of the participants were first responders themselves, wearing their full gear as they climbed 110 steps, simulating the 110 flights of stairs 9/11 first responders climbed as the 24th anniversary approaches. Today's weather, mostly sunny and breezy with highs in the low 80s. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
7 o'clock hour is brought to you by Van Sant Law Group. If you're in an accident, make the right call. VanSantLaw.com. I think there's something to be said about loyalty. In my house, my wife and son are incredibly loyal. They will defend you knowing you're wrong. Loyalty means the world to them, and everybody that knows them knows where they stand always. There's never an opportunity for them to take a different side. There's never going to be a chance that they're going to turn on you. Like me, if I see that you're completely wrong, I'm gonna be like, hey man, let's talk about this real quick. Let's make sure everybody's on the same page. My wife and son are like full steam ahead. They're on your team. And I do think there's value in that. I do love people that are loyal, that will stand by you no matter what.
Well, you do run the house like the Cowart Mafia.
Yeah, I do.
And they all fall in line with that.
That's right.
Like, there's no such thing as I'm going to snitch on mom.
Mm-mm.
Like, dad does something.
Yeah,
it's quiet.
Yeah, that's
We're
right.
not saying anything.
That's right.
That's how it's going to be. Now, I find this very encouraging because of Trump 1.0. At this point, when we were in Trump's first administration, you had people moving in and out. And that was a regular criticism of, it's chaotic. Look at all the people that are going in and out of the administration. And what we found out by Trump's own admission, he didn't hire the right people. He didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah. He thought they were going to just work for him because that's what they do. You're the president.
Right.
You're the most powerful person in the world.
I hired you. You're supposed to do what I'm looking to do. You're supposed to get on board with what I'm pushing. And that wasn't the case. Look what has happened during 2.0. Now, granted, we're now 8 months in, right? We've just started month 8. And what have we had? If you are sitting in that cabinet, you're in the cabinet. Now, we are going to get some people that are going to move on as we get closer to 2026.
Oh, sure.
Why? Because they want to run.
Yeah.
Like we had the scenario where you started looking around the cabinet and going like, well, why aren't they not getting out of the cabinet? Well, I don't know. Maybe they want to run for governor of Ohio.
Yeah.
Okay. Like that's the sort of stuff that's going on. You're going to see some of that that's going to happen. But by and large, Donald Trump and his group, they've stayed completely behind them. I want you to take a listen. This ends up being over the weekend when asked by a reporter about RFK Jr., who had all of Big Pharma, as many millions of dollars in big guns that Big Pharma could roll out, and every senator they have in their back pocket. They went at him over the weekend. This is what Donald Trump had to say about it.
Is of all the establishment attacks on RFK Jr.?
Well, he's a different kind of a guy. He's got a lot of good ideas, but he's got a lot of ideas. You know, normally they don't have any ideas, and that's why we have problems with autism and so many other things, because we're coming up with the answers for autism. You watch. We're coming up with the answers for other things that normal people, regular people, easy to get along with people wouldn't be able to do. He's got a lot of ideas, and so do I, and we're going to clean it up.
That's back in your pick.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. He spent the entire weekend, cable news and all of the establishment going after RFK Jr. like he didn't know what he was doing. To have Chris Christie going out there telling you all about health.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the last person you need to hear from.
Every bought and paid for person was going after RFK Jr., and Donald Trump ended that on the White House lawn.
Dude, I love seeing that. Again, I see it out of my own family. There is strong value, in my opinion. There is such strong value in loyalty and relationships and the things that matter. And I love the way he said people that just go along to get along ain't getting anything done. This dude is overturning the apple cart, and look at what we're trying to do. Like, our goal is to figure out why autism has shot up by, an incredible percentage amount. From what was it, like 1 in 36 to like,
well, it was 1 in 10,000,
and then now to like 1 in 36 or something.
Yeah, the numbers are exponential. It's not supposed to happen. And so whether it happens to be, and we'll get the report that's going to be coming out later this month, is there a particular chemical formula that continues to do this? The discussion has been whether or not Tylenol in women that are I'm trying to remember what the name of the term was, and forgive me for not remembering it. Women that have a deficiency in a particular aspect of their health, coupled with Tylenol, seems to be one of the areas where it's triggering them to look into it. Now, does that mean all women who take Tylenol when they're pregnant? No, of course not. But they're trying to at least say, let's find out if there is a string of issues here so that, hey, when you're pregnant, let's make sure that we make sure you're not deficient in this area, because certain things seem to have an effect on the development of that child.
And if you're not, the only way you're against this is if you're bought and paid for. Why in the world would you want...
What's wrong with more information?
Exactly. Who's going, you know what? Less information will be better here. Nobody. Unless you're bought and paid for, you're in support of this. You want to find out what's causing these problems. You want to find out what's causing these issues. You want to save so many kids from experiencing this. And no, they don't, but they're bought and paid for. Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. This is the probably the saddest story that we'll touch on today. It's one that I couldn't believe that I was seeing. I couldn't believe that I was reading, and yet could completely believe it. I want to tell you about the compassion of the loving left. Tom Holman has found 22,638 of the missing migrant children. Listen to what they've been through.
The team is entirely data-driven. They're focused on analyzing records and addresses to track down where these minors ended up. More than 22,000 unaccompanied children have been found so far under this Trump administration. 27 of the minors were found dead, either murdered or by suicide, car accidents, or drug overdoses. And more than 400 sponsors have been arrested.
We're talking about debt bondage, where children are being made to work off debt, trafficking debt. We're talking about children that were brought into situations and then treated like sexual slaves.
In early 2021, record number of children became crossing the border. According to HHS, between 2021 to 2024, more than 470,000 unaccompanied children crossed into the United States. Records show that many of these children were released to sponsors under very lax vetting policies.
What do you think people would be surprised of when it comes to the lack of screening?
Well, under the last administration, there was a severe lack of screening. There was no DNA testing to see if there was a familial connection. Children were released to people that said they were their parents who were not. And in many cases, the data is horrible. What the Biden administration was taking in and actually putting into our computer systems was not the right information. So now we have to draw that all back in and deeply investigate into where some of these children went.
Dude, 470,000, and they've now located 27 found dead. Murder, suicide, car wrecks, sponsors arrested for being child molesters. That's what the loving left did. That's what the Joe Biden way of doing things is. Open the border. Let anybody in that wants to come in. And look what happens to the children that were left to just be taken advantage of, is the best way I could put it. It's the most disgusting, vile thing about this whole open border.
Day one, the Biden administration, using executive order, changed a large amount of Donald Trump policies. Remain in Mexico, probably the most notable one, but one of the one that gets forgotten, the DNA testing at the border. Now, during Trump 1.0, you had a media that would be very upset about you're separating children from their families.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hold on. The reason why that was going on is let's ensure that these are actually the family members. Let's DNA test them. So then it just turned into, well, we're not going to DNA test anybody.
We're just going to take your word for it.
And what it turned into was open season on child sex trafficking and child sex slavery.
Dude, that was happening on your southern border while they told you that nothing was going on.
Oh, you have such a big heart. You have no idea. And Tom Homan.
Early on, though, Los, they were telling you that the border wasn't open.
Yeah, Tom Homan, when you hear him do an interview, and I don't remember who this was. Maybe it was Sean Ryan. It was a podcast that he was doing. And quite honestly, I couldn't get all the way through it because it was just
so heavy.
That and Sean Ryan will put me to sleep.
Oh.
But you had the scenario where Tom Homan was talking about when he was working like low end of Border Patrol, how when they would find children, and that's what sticks in his mind. It's not all of the craziness. It's not the, here's the random people coming across the border. What sticks out in his mind are dead children. And that's why he goes about it the way he does. Women and dead children are the things that motivate him to get up and go to work.
It's awful to think that in the United States of America, that was allowed to happen. That was invited. And that, had Donald Trump not won, would continue. It would still be going on. If Kamala Harris was, by some, having God turn his face away from us, and that would have been our next president, Kamala Harris, this would still continue. 27 dead, and that's just so far. 27. What do you think that real number is going to be? Because it's going to be
it's going to be hundreds.
Dude, it's if not thousands, dude. 470,000 kids.
And
they've only located 22?
Yeah.
22.6?
Now, I'm hopeful that for the most part we find them in a very similar scenario that we find people in, which is they're working at some facility, not making a whole lot of money, and it's basically a slave wage. Because at that point, they have not fallen into the sexual assault, sexual slavery game. At least, hopefully, they're working for somebody, and at some point, ICE ends up busting down the door, and they get led basically back to freedom.
God, I hope you're right.
Because there's a whole... I think this is what gets ignored. There are a lot of people that came across the border that, there are those that are taking advantage of our laws, our system, that are getting paid out, and they're in the right state, and so look how room and board, everything's taken care of. Now, that's starting to go away a bit. But what a lot of people have found their way into was they were promised that they were going to get the treatment like we see in New York. I'm going to be in a huge hotel, and they're going to give me a card, and I'm going to get taken care of.
It's going to be great.
No, there's a lot of them that end up working basically as slaves. And they have to pay the coyotes that brought them over, or the organized crime units that are basically managing them.
And that leads me to believe the worst.
Yeah.
That leads me to believe the worst, that those children are being taken. I wish it were just having to work for slave wages, because I think it's so sinister, it's so dark. Dude, I think it is the worst of the worst. My fear is that the overwhelming majority of these kids are being taken advantage of that way in sexual abuse.
Now let's talk about a clean version of this. If Tug and I wanted to join, let's say for instance, we want to start accounts with Uber Eats and Grubhub and anybody else who ends up doing food delivery. All right, we can start accounts. And what we've seen this going on around the country. Now, the companies are trying to crack down on it, but this was something that was going on as of about 4 or 5 years ago. What it was I start an account. I'm the person that's basically handling this stuff, but I hire an illegal, or maybe 2, or maybe 3. And what their job to do is to drive that car all day long, all evening long, and keep making up those food orders. Now, they're giving me half, if not more, of that money.
Probably more.
And so while I'm at home chilling, doing my thing, I've got illegals working for me. And so they get to keep half. And what is their end of it? I know what they're making. I'm not reporting them to send them home.
Yeah.
And so you create an indentured servitude status with these people. Now, again, that isn't as gross as thousands of children are where they're at. But just think about that. The level of depravity starts to go up from there. If it's like, oh, I'm being abused by the guy who has an Uber Eats account. All right, what happens when you're a child?
That's right.
And you've been sold to some of these demons.
That's exactly right, man. And those aren't mutually exclusive. Like both of those things could be happening at the exact same time. You know, taking advantage of them as workers and then taking advantage of them as, with sexual assault and all the other things. So alarming. Good for Tom Holman. I hope he continues doing exactly what he's doing now and trying to eliminate this rot that Joe Biden and his administration allowed in the United States of America. It was being built for and by American workers, they said. Then if that's the case, then why were 475 illegals arrested in Bryan County? Next on Extra.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, September 8th. The Atlanta Falcons got beat in the final minute by the division rival Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Mercedes-Benz Stadium yesterday afternoon. The Falcons took a late lead before a late touchdown pass and a mixed extra point put the Falcons down by 3 in the final minute. Falcons kicker Younghoe Koo missed the game-tying field goal from 44 yards out. The Falcons now play the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday Night Football in Minnesota for week 2 of the season. From Major League Baseball, the visiting Seattle Mariners took 2 of 3 from the Atlanta Braves this past weekend, including an ugly 18-2 final on Sunday. The homestand continues as the Chicago Cubs are in town. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear that game live on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina. Hey, it's Los. We're here with Tom Mitchell, the honest car guy. Tom, I've learned a lot about this car buying process from you. Is that typical of most of the clients you've worked with?
Yeah, I'm finding out it's even more typical. I mean, people are learning more and more, and maybe it's because I overload them with information because I want to be able to sleep at night. I want to make sure you know everything.
Do I have to have a particular make and model in mind when I call you, or is it just open to anything I want?
It's open. I can get any make, any year, any model.
I might be looking to trade in my vehicle. Can you accommodate that as the honest car guy?
For sure. I mean, we love it when people want to trade in cars because honestly, it's best for you to trade in the car. Why? Because you get a tax savings.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the honest car guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
When I first started using a CPAP, getting supplies and equipment was a horrible hassle. It pretty much stayed that way until I discovered CPAPs, etc.com. Same-day shipping on anything you might need, including travel CPAPs, hoses, masks, you name it. Same-day shipping. CPAPsETC.com or visit their store in Alpharetta. So easy. and you could be preserving your health and saving your life.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. We basically bought our house from our in-laws. It was my wife's childhood home. One of the issues that we've had when we first moved in was our dog in our backyard. It was extremely shaded, could never grow grass back there. We resodded it twice. So ATL Turf Co. did an amazing job with our backyard transformation. They basically created a miniature golf hole. We have a miniature fairway. We also have a miniature little putting green. Consists of about 4 holes, total about 40 yards, so you can definitely work on your short game and your putting. After that transformation that ATL Turf Co. did for us, my father-in-law came and saw his house the way it looked after the fact of we had a putting green and a miniature golf course. Sure enough, he did the same thing with ATL Turf Co. He has a beautiful backyard, wonderful stonework, drainage, and a beautiful practice area for chipping and putting. Check him out online at atlturfco.com.
Donald Trump's America.
If the U.S. Supreme Court sides with an appeals panel and finds President Trump exceeded his authority in implementing many of his tariffs, it would trigger an economic emergency, the president says.
Our country has a chance to be unbelievably rich again, but it can also be unbelievably poor again.
A loss for the administration, President Trump says, could mean unwinding several trade deals with the EU, South Korea, and Japan.
If we don't win that case, our country is going to suffer so greatly, so greatly.
Last week, a federal appeals court affirmed a lower court ruling that President Trump illegally used emergency power to impose global tariffs, but the judges are leaving those import taxes in place for several more weeks to allow for an appeal. And while the president and other top officials are confident the Supreme Court will let the tariffs stand, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the administration is working on potential backup plans. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Hey, it's Flounder, and the Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m.
Bill Gates. How does one man manage to block the sun, cover your produce with chemicals, bioengineer mosquitoes, insert fake meat into the food supply, and openly advocate for population control through vaccines without being considered a global threat or a Bond villain?
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. I remember when this announcement came down that there was going to be a really big factory built in Bryan County, which is just outside of Savannah.
Bryan.
It was going to be Luke Bryan.
Bryan County.
He's from down that way, Luke Bryan.
Look how many people it's going to employ.
Yeah, dude, but remember that's why they told us.
Yeah, that's
it's going to be
always the part.
built by Americans, for Americans. Brian Kemp touted it, said how great it was going to be.
You're in Georgia, man. Look at this area.
Yeah.
It's going to Americans all around.
Joe Biden talked about how it was going to. I read the statement from the White House talking about how it was going to be built by Americans for Americans, and give Americans so many jobs. And then it was raided over the weekend, and it was employing 475 illegals. These people got tax breaks to hire Americans, like Joe Biden said in that proclamation that they shared from the White House. And the crazy part is when this comes out, it's always like, conspiracy. There's nothing going on here. There's nothing to see here. We're doing everything right by the book. We're doing everything the way it's supposed to be. I don't know what y'all are looking at. And then the raid happens. We're like, oh, I thought it wasn't happening. What do you mean? What do you mean there were 475 people that were raided? Most of them South Korean that were working for contractors and subcontractors. But I don't know if you heard this little detail. When the raid goes down, some of the people just cooperated. They knew, ICE is here. We're going to cooperate. We're going to do like we're supposed to do. And those people are going to be sent back to South Korea. The others decided they were going to go jump in a sewer pond.
Yeah.
Holy Lord.
Got to fish them out, huh?
Yes. And so the ICE agents basically had to put a boat in a sewer pond to go get these people. And then some of them were trying to flip them over. So these people are going to be charged, with additional crimes for this, all in a plant that you were told was going to be built by Americans and for Americans.
It doesn't matter where they're from. Illegal immigration drives down wages.
Of course it does.
It's what it does. It's why it's so appealing, not just to those on the left. You have, and I brought it up before, you have Chamber of Commerce Republicans who love illegal immigration.
Yes, they do.
Because here's how I'm going to run my facility, my factory, and I'm going to pay less money. And what are they going to say about it? What are they going to do about it? I went, because I took it upon myself, to go over to Hyundai, and I looked up on their website. All right, what is a handful of jobs that this would apply to? Now, keep in mind, it's not like I'm applying to be the lead engineer, okay? I'm looking to do like quality assurance work, which basically means I'm inspecting at the point of origin and I'm rubber stamping, or I'm saying, okay, that's what that is, or here we got a problem here. That's quality assurance, okay? The jobs that are available in this factory run from, again, at the minimum, at the bare end of it, $24 to $34 per hour. You really think any one of those people was making $34 per hour?
No. Of course they
Not
weren't.
a chance.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet they were probably sitting right around 17 or 20.
If they're lucky.
And
because
so,
they have no rights. Who are they going to complain to?
What are they going to do? Who are you going to complain to? So you end up making a bigger profit. Now, is there an American that you would love to hire in that area at $34 an hour? Hell yeah. There's plenty of Americans who would do that work.
Lining up to take those jobs.
Yeah.
We saw it at I keep going back to the chicken facility
The chicken facility that lost like 50
Nebraska.
workers.
Yeah, in
and
Nebraska.
the next day.
And I'm watching a video as we speak from at Wall Street Apes. It is the before and after video of the plant that was raided. On the left, as it was going down, there's people everywhere.
Yeah, scattering.
And then the second video on the right, ain't a soul in there. So that tells me that they didn't hire any Americans. That's what they told you they were going to do. That's what they got tax breaks to do. And yet they did the exact opposite.
And now if you're interested, there's plenty of jobs available.
Should be.
Like I keep wanting to jump back on, now that it happened over the weekend, I want to jump back on Hyundai's site to see when they're going to post all these jobs available. Because I was looking at it over the weekend going like, are they there yet?
Yeah.
Let's see. But out of that facility, again, at the low end, $24 to $34 an hour. If you are a person who's living in that area with a high school degree, a high school diploma, and you're making $34 an hour,
dude, you're living good.
You're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, absolutely right. You're making more than somebody coming out of college with a gender studies degree.
Oh, 100%.
Because you actually are doing something. You actually have a skill that you can provide. You know, there's people that are coming out of college with those crazy degrees that provide nothing to anyone. And
you're making $65,000 a year.
Dude, that's a good living
in a small town.
I think the average in the United States is about 45 to 50 grand. So if I'm right about that, and don't quote me, look it up.
$34 an hour on a 40-hour work week. And by the way, one of the biggest things about automotive industry is the amount of overtime that pays.
Oh yeah,
and typically it pays up double depending on the union contract.
Mm-hmm.
So at a minimum, we're talking $65,000.
If you're making 45. If that's average, dude, you're making $20,000 more than the average American makes in that plant. The one that they promised you Americans were going to get the job, and of course, they didn't.
Now you got to tell me about the county, because now I got to look up what it costs to live there.
Bryan County. It's just it's right outside of Savannah. But I would imagine being outside of Savannah is probably a little cheaper. I would imagine Savannah is probably. Savannah's obviously going to be really expensive, but I would imagine Bryan County is probably a little better. Because Savannah, if I'm not mistaken, is Chatham County, so it'd be the county over from. And I'm not spending a great deal. I've been to Savannah many times, but not a great deal of time, so I can't speak like an expert to it.
How do they spell Bryan in that area?
I think it's Bryan, Bryan County.
Oh, there you go, Bryan County, Georgia. Okay, yeah, you know what? If you want to live in this area. Okay, granted, they do have some $1 million homes, but I mean,
but those are probably the people.
Those are the few.
Yeah, that live in Savannah or work in Savannah, but it's just like people that don't live in Atlanta. They live in Forsyth County, or they live in North Fulton.
You can live very comfortably on a $250,000 home in that area.
See, that's so. And if you're making $65,000 a year, that's a good living.
Just taking a look at it, there are plenty of nice homes available. Again, it's not crazy to live there. And so that is what was being pilfered from the American people.
That's what was being taken away from them.
It was taken away from them from who were living in that area.
Yeah, they're like, how?
Like, I want to be on at the plant. Why do they have all these South Koreans there?
Yes, that's right.
And you wonder, so there was people that posted online, on X, that they had reported this. I wonder how widespread that was. Because you'd have to notice there's an influx of a lot of South Koreans in your area.
Wow.
I mean, if you got 450 within just one facility.
They said the research going into the raid lasted a year leading up because they were getting so many tips. People calling in to the federal government saying, hey, down here in Bryan County, this is what we're seeing. And it took them a year before they acted on it. So they were compiling all the evidence before they did the raid. That way it was lock solid. And I think a lot of people were noticing, and that's why the raid went down.
Yeah, out of the 450, 300, it's what it's listed as, were South Korean.
Okay. Yeah.
So you would, 300 of anybody in a small area.
You're going to notice.
You're going to notice, like, okay, are they all here legally? Like, what's the story here?
Yeah,
and
well,
apparently they were not.
The answer is no, definitely not. But it should irritate you that in a red state like Georgia is, that this is still happening. You would expect this in blue states, but in red states, you're not. Surely that's not going to happen. I mean, they're in lockstep with the president, right? They're trying to do the same thing the president's doing. Turns out that's not the case at all.
I mean, this is as like coastal Georgia as it gets. Now that I look
beautiful.
at it, yeah,
yeah,
you're right. South of Savannah,
yeah. So, but I think that's the part that bothers me the most is this isn't supposed to happen in Georgia. This is not supposed to happen here, and yet it is. And this is all under the watchful eye of the governor and the watchful eye of the Georgia legislature, and yet it was still happening. It's like the bad deal in the Rivian thing. You know, that took it. That cost you and me. Now that Rivian is, I don't know, what, $100 million upside down, and we gave them so much tax breaks, we gave them so many tax incentives, and yet nothing came out of it for the people of the state of Georgia. Going back to those country club Republicans that you talk about, Los, they were just fine with this happening under their nose. There's not a chance
under their nose
that they didn't know it.
Yeah, they knew
There's
it.
not a chance.
Everyone in the area knew what was going on.
And that's the thing that pisses me off the most.
You can't tell me that people that were working at that plant didn't have a pretty good idea what was going on there.
Absolutely right. Well, it's just wild.
And I'm kind of curious now because, again, like it was a story over the weekend, 475 people. You wonder, like, how many work in the plant where, let's just say, if that plant has 2,000 people, which is a pretty good-sized plant, could you imagine they're sitting back and they're like, hey, a quarter of the people that are working here are not here legally.
Do y'all notice that too, or is that just me? You know, you'd be called every ism in the world or every ist in the world for noticing.
Can I point out the one ugly thing that I saw on X? I saw a lot of ugly things on X over the weekend.
Yeah.
Falcon fans were so mad. They were telling ICE, hey, you missed one. And I'm like, that dude went to Georgia State, sir.
No,
like,
Georgia Southern.
Georgia Southern.
Yeah.
Like, he's legal, man.
Yeah.
But that's how ugly they got over the weekend.
They're calling
now,
ICE on young.
I'm not going to say that I didn't go, okay, it's kind of funny, but it's mean.
That's very mean. So stinking mean.
Fans get ugly, man.
Dude, that's the one thing. I don't know what it is about football fans. They just get, and it seems like social media is a breeding ground. It's like one-upping each other. How do I say something meaner than the last guy? All right. When we come back, a Hollywood star said, don't let your hatred of Donald Trump make you pull against America. Next on Extra.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
I guess it's natural, me being an attorney, that I get interested in the Supreme Court and its decisions. One Supreme Court decision in 2005 irritated me, alarmed me, scared me more than any other decision I've ever heard of or read. Kelo versus New London, Connecticut. The Supreme Court said that under the Fifth Amendment, the government of New London could seize some nice waterfront property and give it to some private developers if they promised to build some homes on it that would produce more tax revenue than the property was producing. It was wrong then, it's wrong now. No property is safe. Under that ruling, any developer could go to a government and say, look, the house on that acre over there is really dilapidated. Seize it, give it to me, I'll build a house that will pay you double that in property taxes. So now it's happening again. Near Trenton, New Jersey, a family farm owned by the family for 175 years. The township of Cranberry, New Jersey, wants that land. Yes, they want to hand it off to some developers, so the developer will produce some low-income housing over the next decade. The units will be owned and operated by a private developer. There's a community not far from where I live in Naples called Naples Park. There are some homes in Naples Park that were built during World War II. Single-car garage, maybe 1,000 square feet, but it's prime property. All we need is some developer around here to say, look, condemn a whole block of these homes, hand it over to me, and I'll build homes that will sell for $800,000 apiece. Imagine the tax revenue. This is a complete outrage. Under our laws and Constitution, this should never be allowed to happen. But maybe you'd better take a look at your property. Could some developer build something nicer on your property that would pay more taxes? Be afraid. Be very afraid. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. Extra 106.3 FM.
The Kimmer Show is only on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
October 2013, the Guardian newspaper headline reads, How Blind Auditions Help Orchestras to Eliminate Gender Bias. Jump forward to 2020, just 7 years later. New York Times headline reads, To make orchestras more diverse, end blind auditions.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. This is Atlanta's new home for Fox News. Extra 106.3 FM, WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
An attack on a bus in Israel. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. 6 people are dead, a dozen wounded when gunmen opened fire at a bus stop in Jerusalem this morning.
The bus was apparently approaching a stop when the 2 gunmen let fire. Described by authorities as terrorists, they sprayed the bus with bullets. 5 men and a woman was killed. The 2 suspects were killed as well by nearby armed men, one an off-duty soldier.
Fox's Greg Palcott in Tel Aviv. That shooting the day after President Trump told reporters outside Air Force One returning from New York he thinks they can stop the war in Gaza.
It's a problem we want to solve for the Middle East, for Israel, for everybody.
And then in a Truth Social post, the president wrote that Israel's accepted the terms of a ceasefire deal, warning Hamas to also agree or face the consequences, calling it his last warning. President Trump also clarified in another weekend post that as he readies a possible National Guard deployment to Chicago, like his crime crackdown in Washington, D.C., he wrote, Chicago will find out why they call it the Department of War, referencing his rebranding of the Defense Department. Now, the president told reporters that cleaning up that city isn't war, it's common sense.
But, there's been a back and forth with Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, and the president. So those two say that they're prepared to take the Trump administration to court if National Guard troops are sent to Chicago. They've argued, like many of these other cities' leadership, Democratic leadership, have said, is that despite a recent spike in mass shootings in Chicago, the murder and robbery rates have dropped. That's down from pandemic highs, according to police data, but burglary, theft, and carjackings, they've all been on the rise. Protesters took to the streets this weekend in opposition to the idea of a federal presence in the Windy City, including a promised intensifying of immigration enforcement.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff. Jury selection starts this morning in a federal court in Florida at Ryan Ruth's trial. He's the man charged in the second Trump assassination attempt last year. America's listening to Fox.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're a different kind of wireless company dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Because let's face it, our needs are different. Big wireless unlimited plans are designed for 20-somethings, not us. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on one thing, bringing you affordable, reliable rate plans that suit your needs, not ours. How do we do that? We start by using the same towers as the big guys, the exact same towers. We then create rate plans designed for your usage. The fact is, we can offer you an unlimited plan with the same network quality for less because we understand how you use wireless services. Our plans start at just $20 a month. And forget trying to chat with robots. You'll get 100% US-based award-winning customer service when you need help. Come find out how wireless should be and join the millions who've made the switch.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Want weather? Grab your phone. Need traffic? Grab your phone. Conservative news and talk, also on your phone. Get the Extra 106.3 app.
I don't know what I've done so well to get all this fan service, but I'm certainly glad to get it. Tug and Los.
What's up, Tug?
Luke, I am your father.
I have to go.
No, it's
better
not.
if I go that one.
I hear it a little bit. I don't know why that fan doesn't do it as well as like the regular fans do.
I don't know. It's magic.
It is something. But these fans are kind of magic. The Ryobi things.
Yeah, no, I
They're
like
impressive.
them. I'm very impressed with how nice their equipment is.
Yeah. I have the little chainsaw jobby. It's it's just like for small branches in the yard. It's got a big old pole. You can get up there and cut some things down. So I've always been really, really happy with it. It's always worked super, super well. And I know Ryobi is a big sponsor of the tailgates at our sister station, The Fan.
Oh, yeah. A lot of good equipment.
Yeah, they bring them out, bring these fans out to keep everybody cool. And this thing's a mister, too, apparently. So, there's all kinds of things that these Ryobi fans, the Ryobi brand does.
Can I send a quick shout out to Thomas?
Yes, of course. So Thomas, are you talking about our listener Thomas?
Who was giving me some
fantastic
tips on. Now, I will tell you, Thomas, everything that you said when it came to framing, and it's a couple of walls I have to frame in the basement. Everything you said, I've watched on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen what it is, and I'm like, thank you. I appreciate it. Thomas, I was putting it out there because I'm looking for a deal. So, Thomas, if you would like to do some business,
hit me up.
Hit me up.
That's right.
Dr. Medina at Extra 106.3.
Exactly right. Well, I forward you to things, so just reach out to him directly, man.
I don't want to do it that way.
No? Okay.
I need to be pursued. Thomas, I got Braves tickets out the wazoo. That's called Plug-Ola Pale, and if you say it out loud like this, it can't possibly be illegal.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I greatly appreciate it, Thomas. And what I'm probably going to end up doing is probably doing 4 of the 5 walls with my father-in-law, and then the last one, because we have to do a little bit more creative in order to cover the ductwork on the AC system. I'll probably end up compensating somebody to find somebody to do that. But no, I've been researching this, and so it was nice to actually hear from somebody like Thomas reinforcing what I kind of thought what to do. Now I'm like, okay, somebody else who listens to the show and says this is what to do. I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah.
I feel better about it.
Yeah, before he was an insurance adjuster, apparently worked in that industry in the construction industry. But Thomas is a great guy. Emails about every day about something we talk about on the show.
Thomas, thank you.
He's such a great guy. And he was like, "Hey, send this to Lowe's." So I probably
sure did. And I looked at it and I read through it. I was like, okay. It's like because I quite honestly, 4 of the 5 walls, exactly what Thomas said is exactly what I've read, and those are going to be the ones where I think that my father-in-law and I can handle it. It's the last one where I'm like, gonna bring in a pro.
Ooh, yeah.
The last one's a little bit tricky.
Yeah, with the duct work. I guess. So, man, I just admire the fact that you're not afraid to tackle it, because I
give it a try.
I get halfway anytime I get through or try to do a project, with the exception of maybe like changing out light fixtures or fans or something. I get halfway through it and I'm like, oh man, I've bit off more than I can chew, and then have to hire somebody midway through.
Can I give you the next thing where you intruded on my weekend in a good way?
In a good way, yes. A good way, yes.
So it's been about 2 or 3 months since you told us a story of going on eBay.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a Sonos speaker.
That's right.
And you decided to make that purchase because Tug, if you don't know, as sweet and nice of a dude as Tug is, he is stingy when it comes to what his audio at home sounds like.
Yes, that's the only thing in my whole life I've ever splurged.
Yes, I'm going to splurge. I'm going to take care of myself on this.
And I did. I'll admit, I was very reluctant for about, I want to say it was almost a year. And my wife was finally like, just buy it. Just do it. Just go. You never buy anything, and she's got Stitch Fix boxes. You know how it is.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I don't need much, man. I'm pretty self-sufficient.
I was going through this with my wife yesterday because she was out shopping with my daughter for homecoming.
This is so cool, man.
And she bought me a couple of shirts. And I told her, I don't buy anything unless you buy it.
Yeah, that's right. Me too.
I was like, when it comes to clothing, I was like, the last thing I bought for myself was at the PGA Tour Superstore. It was an Adidas golf shirt, and I had to actually count it up. I got it like 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah.
That was the last time I bought something off a rack in a store for myself.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't happen a lot. So I went down the road of, all right, the girls up in their loft area, I'm just going to get them a regular sound bar. No big deal. But I was like, I want to go a little bit nicer for what I'm doing.
Is this for your basement setup?
Yes.
Oh, that's going to be awesome, dude.
And so I did a little bit of shopping, and I found myself, it was an open box special.
Yep.
And I got myself the Sonos Beam. It's about yay big.
Absolutely.
It's my hands sit about 3 feet apart, 2 feet apart, 2.5 feet apart. And it sounds
ridiculous.
Amazing.
It is ridiculous that it can be that small and it sounds so dang good.
And be 5 channels.
Yeah. That's
5
nuts.
channels with everything's built in. Now, you pay for it.
You do, yeah, of course.
Now, here's the problem.
Uh-oh. You want some things to go along with it?
No, I found out why it was open box.
Oh, why?
It kept stopping working after about 3 minutes.
No!
And so now I had to take, I'm going to lay it out here. The speaker, the sound bar, is $499.
Yep.
All right. The one that my kids have is $75.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
so
yeah.
I mean, there was
a big difference.
Big difference here. I got this one for a little bit over $300 because it was open box.
Yeah.
It hurt to take that thing back.
Sucks.
And sitting back and going, well, I really like. Should I buy it? And I'm like, I can't justify spending $499 on a set.
Yes, you can, Los. Just do it. Just like Nike, just do it.
At $300, I told my wife, I'm like, we're getting it for like $200 off.
I know.
And then I found out why it was $200 off.
But
it sounded amazing
for
like the 3 to 5 minutes it would work before it would. And when I brought it back, I told them here was what the problems were, and they kind of gave me a look of like, yeah, we kind of thought that was what was going on with it.
Oh no. Why wouldn't they tell you? That's the worst when you go.
It's an open box.
I know, but you would think
and it's
if
been,
they already
it's been
know.
checked by Nerd Crew or whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, they were happy to sell it to you,
hoping the problem wouldn't happen to me.
Maybe he'll just luck around.
It did.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's terrible.
But man, it sounded incredible. You're right. That Sonos speakers. I only bought it because I listened to it in the store, and you were raving about how good the quality is.
Dude, it's amazing. So if you can't,
I took it back.
Maybe then. Wait until there's another one. You know, sometimes people just take them back. They get buyer's remorse because they're expensive, and they'll just take them back.
It's like my one splurge that I've had since like a pair of shoes,
dude.
A pair of like Nikes like 3 years ago.
Yeah. So maybe just be on the lookout for the next. I gotta say, man, I've bought a few of them on two on eBay, and I've never had an issue whatsoever. And maybe it's just luck.
It's a little cheaper on Amazon.
Yeah, it is.
I might.
Yeah.
I keep looking.
Yeah,
like Amazon Sonos speaker.
Dude, because the basement that you're building out is going to be amazing, and you got to have it wired right. You know what I mean? It's got, because I'm sure you're going to have an exquisite setup, incredible.
I want it nice.
TV.
I want it nice.
Are you going to get a projector TV or
no?
Just go with the big 70-inch?
It's 85.
Oh, yes, what I meant. Yes, the 85. That's right.
No, the TV and everything else, like I said, get a little bit of framing.
Yep.
Going to finish out electrical. I'd like to get the drywall up by maybe the end of the month. And at that point, all I have is flooring, and we're going to build a bar and some other stuff, but like I'll do the painting, everything else. But like the nicest stuff that they have when it comes to the Sonos, I guess it's the Arc.
The Arc, yep. It's the best one.
That is the best one.
It's gigantic.
It's $880. I don't need that one that big.
Yeah.
I need the medium.
And the Beam is the medium, and it's, dude, I'm telling you, if you can
nice.
Because you've got some time before you need it all, before everything's completed, save 50 here, 50 there. And then if you got that saved and then pair it with, like the 300 that you're going to spend anyway.
Listen, Daddy won like almost 100 on Prize Picks over the weekend. So that's
freaking go.
There's a part of me that goes,
There we go. Now I know what I want to spend.
If I win on Monday night, maybe at that point,
buddy,
I might get into this thing.
I will be pulling for you to get the biggest win you've ever gotten.
And by the way, I had Josh Allen. I took the higher end when it came to passing yards on Prize Picks. It was at 233, which did not look good at the half. The dude threw for 295 yards in one half. It's like, killed it.
Let's go.
God, looking over, like, won this one easy.
Yeah, check the box.
Thank you.
WINNN. That's right. All I do is win.
winning.
There we go. So now you got something to save for. You got a goal ahead of you. I'm telling you, you will not regret it. I know we don't. I use the Sonos system in our house every day. From the time I walk into the house, like I'll flip on the Xtra app and listen to the station. And then, eat some lunch and then flip over to music, flip back a little bit. And it's so easy to go between, and the sound is just incredible. If you're an audiophile, which I am a little bit, I love it. So at some point, Sonos is going to send me some money because as much as I talk about them, they need to. And as many people as I've turned on to that company, they need to send me some endorsement dollars, some NIL money. I doubt that'll ever happen, but it'd sure be nice to dream. Or at least maybe a speaker. Maybe just send me like the low end. Maybe send me something, small. But the problem ain't going to happen. Chris Pratt's a guy that I don't know much about. I have read about him when I saw him say what he said, and he was on with Bill Maher. And I know you probably know him well, Los, from his acting and stuff. But everything that I saw about him said he's pretty big into his faith. He's very open about his faith, which I appreciate. And he said to Bill Maher, don't let your blind hatred of the president make you pull against the administration and ultimately against the American people.
In politics, you inherit enemies. And when you jump on the bandwagon with who is, the most divisive president ever, it makes sense that you're going to be made to look terrible. And so I don't know what to believe, because it's not like I sit with Bobby and I go, hey, let's talk about this. It's like we're just playing cards or playing Mafia or having fun or having dinner. I'm not going to pick his brain to find out exactly which of those things are true. I just kind of assume that none of them are. And for the most part, I wish him well, man. I hope there's certain things that he oversees that seem to be supported in a bipartisan way, like getting terrible toxic stuff out of our kids' food. I think that's a great thing. And so if you do that, that's amazing. I'd hate to be so mired in hatred for the president that any success from his administration is something I'd have an allergic reaction to. To be like, if they do it, I don't want it to happen. I'll put Clorox in my children's cereal myself. It's like, come on, be reasonable here. There's certain things that would be a good thing to have. I want them all to be successful.
Be reasonable here. Don't pour Clorox in your kids' food. Dude, that's genius.
I have always liked Chris Pratt. Liked him from his days on network television. Mm-hmm. Obviously love him in Guardians of the Galaxy and the movies he does. That is the most tempered response, even as somebody that I wouldn't. If you told me, he would never consider voting for Trump, I'm like, that's fine. That is a tempered, smart response to, you're still taking care of things that are in the best interest of me and my family. I don't care where it comes from.
Yeah, what is there to not like about that?
That's all he's telling you. He's like, it doesn't matter where it comes from. Your hatred of an administration or of a particular president, if they're doing stuff that's good for you and good for your family, how can you be so blinded by hate and rage that you can't acknowledge it?
A lot of people are, though. My Aunt Peg, she is completely unhinged.
Kate Jr.
Yeah.
He won't let me get vaccines.
That's right. You're like,
not the
what?
case.
It's not at all the case.
That's not how it works.
That's why you see those videos, and they happen more. We talked about one on Friday, but there's a bunch that populated over the weekend of people going to get COVID vaccines just to push back on RFK, and I'm like,
by all means, have at him.
Have at it, man. He never told you couldn't.
Not interested.
Yeah,
not for me.
Nothing.
The only thing that man did was he made it a point that it was no longer going to be mandatory when it comes to children. If your school district tried to say, hey, you need a COVID shot in order to go to school, which some school districts did, he basically eliminated that's no longer going to be a factor.
As it shouldn't.
So you're more than welcome to go get shot up with as much cancer as you want.
COVID doesn't affect children, not the way it does on the upper end of the 75 plus folks.
Average age of death 78.
That's exactly right. Why would kids need this to begin with? But just because you have such a blind hatred of RFK because of his connection to Donald Trump, you're like, I'm going to do exactly opposite, and that's when he jokes about the Clorox in your kids' food.
So let's be very honest about it. you're not going to get your 7-year-old shot up with COVID shots, all right, with the SV40s. You might feed them Fruity Pebbles or Fruit Loops. And all RFK Jr. is saying is, let's get out the dyes that are potentially hazardous long-term to our kids' health. And
what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? But when you have that blind hatred, everything is, because
everything's a problem.
Yeah, your judgment's so clouded that you can't accept something good for you because it came from the wrong mouth.
I'm trying to remember who I read who said this over the weekend, and I got it. I'm going to have to start putting aside these random things, because I probably read 300 or 400 different stuff over the weekend. Mostly it's all sports, and then there's some random political stuff where I'll go, oh, that's a pretty good point. The notion was that Donald Trump is basically running the Democrat Party.
Yeah, I saw that. This is so good and so true.
Based on what he knows, if I say this, they will be against it. So he pretty much is dictating terms. He has now become that general on the battlefield that's dictating terms of the engagement, knowing if I do this, they'll do this. If I don't do anything, they won't do anything.
Yeah.
So let me just keep doing stuff, and I know exactly how they're going to respond.
Right. And I'm going to take the common sense route, and I'm going to leave them with what's left.
I'm going to force them to the low ground.
Yeah, that's right. And they just seem so willing. They seem so willing, Los, to go with it. They seem totally comfortable taking the 18%. No matter what it is, including taking bad things out of your kid's cereal. And you're like, nope, we're definitely, I want it in there. It must be in there because RFK he's bad. He's like Donald Trump. He's terrible. So I want the bad stuff in there. Who says that?
Huh?
Nobody says that. It's going against common sense. And I really do believe this. Donald Trump is not super conservative, but he's common sense, which makes him appear very conservative. Because conservatism is usually, what's your common sense tell you?
Yeah. What is the logical answer to this situation?
Exactly right.
He's not being in traditional conservative. I'm going to be guided by these hardcore conservative principles. That's not him.
No, but common sense is going to make him appear.
That's my Ted Cruz.
Yeah,
okay, that's my JD.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, that's not how Donald Trump is, and that's part of the reason why the tent's as big as it is.
Why Americans actually believe in RFK Jr. Next in story time, get your number 2 pencils out. Get ready to take you some notes. Get ready to get some knowledge. Get smart. Next on Xtra 106.3.
Get the latest breaking news and insight from the biggest conservative voices in the South when you follow Xtra 106.3 across all your social media platforms. Find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube at Xtra 106.3.
Hey, it's Los. Let's talk about True Prep. I ask you this question. Are you ready for anything? I mean, anything. All right. That's the cool part about True Prep. If you feel like you got some blind spots there, they can get you taken care of. First off, 1000 Cobb Parkway in Marietta, or just jump online. TruePrep.com. That's TRUPrep.com. You can always check out their used guns and gear, their sales and clearance items. Listen, I'm really big into freeze-dried food. I want to make sure that I have stuff available in case of some sort of weather craziness. I want to be ready for that. Maybe you like getting out in those outdoors. Do it safely. Make sure you have all the right equipment, and make sure you have all the right equipment to power your equipment. Or if you're out and about, you want to make sure that your personal security is a priority and the safety of your family. They not only have the guns to take care of you, but also at the same point, they also have events and workshops on a regular basis. First-time gun buyer training. They've had that all through the month of August. Going to get some of those scheduled as well. They have an introductory to preparation courses. That goes on as well through True Prep. So it's not just the front end of they got the equipment, they got the resources, they got what you need. They also have you on the back end as well to get you trained up depending on your level of experience. Go to TruePrep.com. That's TRUPrep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow with True Prep.
Looking for the perfect car, truck, or SUV? Jim Ellis Buick GMC has you covered. With a huge selection of new and used vehicles, finding the right fit is easy.
Whether it's a Buick Enclave or Envision, a GMC Acadia or Yukon, or the power of the Sierra and Canyon trucks, and the best part, you're never alone in the process.
Their expert sales team helps match you with the right vehicle, while their finance specialists make buying simple and stress-free.
With decades of experience, Jim Ellis Buick GMC understands the importance of offering an expansive inventory that fits every driver driving performance, style, and budget need. Plus, every new Buick and GMC comes with cutting-edge technology, premium comfort, and advanced safety features so you can drive with confidence.
Already a Buick or GMC owner? Well, keep it running like new with their state-of-the-art service center staffed by factory-trained technicians who know your vehicle inside and out. Start your search at JimEllisBuickGMC.com or shop in person in Chamblee off Peachtree Boulevard, inside the perimeter, or in Beaufort off Highway 20 near 985. Jim Ellis, Buick GMC, we are professional grade.
I'm Ashley Dvorkin with a Fox Celebrity Profile with Connie Nielsen, who returns for the action comedy sequel Nobody 2 alongside Bob Odenkirk.
They always let me know from the beginning that they were going to, build this universe. I love what the script was like, and I love what Timo, our director, did with it. And Bob is just a natural, talented writer, and he really writes from his heart and from what he knows.
That's so interesting that you knew going in they were going to expand the universe. So is that a big part of the decision making too, or you're like, okay, this is a big commitment, another one?
No, I was looking forward to it because, there's just the way he writes this family touches me. It's the way he reveals the ins and outs of this relationship with his wife. And there's such dignity in the way they both are admit to failure and support each other in being the person that they need to be in order to make this family happy.
Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
I'm Gianna Gelosi with your Fox True Crime Minute. Long Island prosecutors gave the green light to use crucial DNA evidence in their case against accused Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann. The ruling marks a big victory for Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney, whose case against the architect hinged almost entirely on DNA matches linking Heuermann to 6 of the 7 sex workers he's charged with killing between 1993 and 2010. At issue is the new DNA technology used, known as whole genome sequencing, which has not been tested in a New York court. The DNA results deemed admissible by the judge were obtained from rootless hairs recovered from 6 of the victims. Heuermann's attorney claims it's a public health violation, and the judge is expected to rule on the challenge later this month. Heuermann has pleaded not guilty. Cops conducted 2 thorough searches of Heuermann's home in Massapequa Park and said they found a how-to file on the killings. The file allegedly included a Things to Remember section and another titled Lessons Learned. There's more on the story at foxnews.com or subscribe to the Fox True Crime Podcast. I'm Gianna Gelosi with your Fox True Crime Minute.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Monday, September 8th. More than 300 South Korean nationals were detained during an ICE raid at the Hyundai electric vehicle plant in Georgia. The South Korean government is negotiating their release and return home. ICE officials said many of the workers had crossed the U.S. border illegally and others were here on expired visas. The FBI is offering a $10,000 reward for information on a Kennesaw man connected to assaults on government facilities. Ronald Watson, also known by Sarah Watson, Miranda Kyle, and Emily Smith, was convicted of arson and destruction of government property in 2022. Watson was also convicted of assaulting an officer in Oregon. If you have any information, contact the FBI through their website or 1-800-CALL-FBI. And over 1,000 people gathered at Truist Park on Saturday to honor 9/11 first responders in the annual Memorial Stair Climb. Many of the participants were first responders themselves, wearing their full gear as they climbed 110 steps, simulating the 110 flights of stairs 9/11 first responders climbed as the 24th anniversary approaches. Today's weather, mostly sunny and breezy with highs in the low 80s. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. I gave you a heads up to make sure you got your notepads, make sure you got your pencil and paper to take notes. Or at worst, open up your notes on your phone and then just type it all out as we do story time.
Settle in and get comfortable, folks. It's story time with Uncle Los.
No, thank you to everyone. And story time is brought to you by Tug.
Yes.
As of right now.
Yeah, but
now it's for sale.
Yes, I'm just like the placeholder. You can have it for your business, like right this second.
That's right. If you happen to do basement framing, story time is available for you.
That's right.
Just plugging all sorts of stuff these days, right?
Whatever it takes.
All right, so I really enjoyed doing this over the weekend. Got me going, started digging into all sorts of this story. So one of the most important aspects of what happened last Thursday, we talked about that was Robert F. Kennedy Jr. versus Big Pharma. And to much of the chagrin of the rest of the Senate, not just the Democrats, but also the Republicans as well, Mostly Democrats, though, had gotten a lot of money when it came to Big Pharma. One of the things that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. brought up was the process by which new drugs and vaccines receive approval in these United States. Now, traditionally, Big Pharma, here's how it works. They develop a drug, a treatment, a vaccine, and I don't know how many people know about this. They submit their research to the FDA for approval. They basically say, here's all the work we did on it. Take a look at it. And of course, the faster the approval, the faster the marketplace, the faster you recover your money, your development money. And let's point this out for those people that don't know. The FDA doesn't have the money nor the resources to do this work. So they are basically a check on what is being paid for by Big Pharma. So, for instance, like it can take years. The FDA can come back to you and basically bring up questions. These are what is known as the guardrails that help protect the American public. So if pharma, let's say just a big pharma company, ends up saying, hey, this has limited side effects for the year that we tested it, the FDA can always say, well, a year's not long enough. You need to go back and do more research. We need a bigger, longer window. This can go on for years and years and years. And you can even have the FDA say, well, did you test this on pregnant women? Well, no, we didn't have any pregnant women. Okay, we'll go back. And this is what happens. Now, this is what the difference was when it came to Operation Warp Speed. The guardrails that exist with the FDA were removed. All of those checks that typically happen that, hey, have you checked on this amount of people? How long was the window? Those were all removed during Operation Warp Speed. That was the big thing that happened that caused something to get to market that now that we're saying like, hey, pericarditis, myocarditis, what's up with these cancers? They only looked at it for a limited amount of a window. But again, that's like kind of a sidebar to all this stuff. So that was a giant screw up. But I want to take you back. There was a man born in 1949 who decided to go into public health. All right, we're starting story time. Okay, ready? Now, this man, he had a bachelor's degree, he had a medical degree, and he had a master's in public health. He went into the Navy Tug.
God bless him.
And he served as a medical officer. And then when he was done with his naval service and his service for the country, he decided, I'm going to continue serving the country. In 1989, this man went to work for the FDA. And one of his specialties was, because of his background, was understanding compounds. Now, he was put in charge of addiction drugs and overseeing them. If it was prescription oriented and there might be a possibility of addiction, this is what this man studied. This man was Dr. Curtis Wright. Now, Dr. Curtis Wright, that's not a name that you're typically going to go like, oh, Curtis Wright. Not a problem. I know exactly who that is.
I was like, who's Curtis? I know my cousin Curtis.
Okay, well, different Curtis. This Dr. Curtis Wright, I don't think would steal your rims.
My cousin Curtis will.
But I don't know how giving he was like cousin Curtis. So let me introduce something else. There was a company named Purdue Pharma who decided their future was going to be dealing with long-term pain, chronic pain, back injuries, all sorts of problems. They were going to be the ones to deal out the medication that you could deal with that. And when Purdue Pharma submitted all their research to the FDA for approval, remember, we went through the guardrails. They had a new product called OxyContin. And Dr. Curtis Wright held concerns. He kept it off the market. He raised concerns that they had a limited scope of their study. That they, hey, did you look into whether people get addicted to this? Purdue Pharma didn't have an answer. Okay, we're going to go back and we're going to do some more research. And everywhere along the lines, Curtis Wright kept rejecting the FDA. We're not going to let this thing get through. So here's the crazy part about all that. Purdue Pharma claimed, quote, that their product had delayed absorption as provided by the OxyContin tablets. It's believed to reduce the abuse liability of the drug. Now, according to court records, Dr. Curtis Wright met with Purdue Pharma on a multitude of occasions. What happened in those meetings? Nobody knows, because Dr. Curtis Wright claimed that none of them were personal in nature. He did that in a deposition back in 2018. I never had a personal relationship with them. Okay, but they keep going to you and trying to get approval from the FDA. In 1995, after a multitude of rejections, Purdue Pharma and OxyContin gained authorization to the market. via Dr. Curtis Wright. Signed off on it.
I feel like there's money attached.
18 months later, in 1997, Dr. Curtis Wright went to work for Purdue Pharma.
Of course.
His first-year compensation package at Purdue was reportedly $379,000 to $400,000, roughly 3 times what he made at the FDA. This launched the opioid crisis of the mid-'90s. It went on for about a decade. It killed 100,000 Americans and caused 800,000 to overdose. So, in a 2017 Esquire interview, Dr. Curtis Wright maintained that his approval was based on prevailing medical consensus that extended-release formulations were safer. He denied direct contact with Purdue during his FDA tenure and claimed his hiring at Purdue was unrelated and was initiated by a recruiter. However, Purdue records contradict his claim of no private meetings, and the timing of his lucrative job offer leads to speculation of impropriety. So, big closing topic here. When RFK Jr. told you about how the process works, saying how the FDA has not been taking care of the American public for the better part of 30 or 40 years.
All the research done by the actual pharmaceutical companies.
They had the ability to stop 100,000 deaths and 800,000 overdoses and more than likely millions of families that were impacted by the opioid crisis. And yet, the one bureaucrat that was the only one of them eventually succumbed to it, allowed it, and then took a job with Big Pharma. Now, how does this all end? Dr. Wright was never indicted. In 2007, Purdue Pharma was hit with a $655 million fine for OxyContin. The executives, they got misdemeanors. In 2020, Purdue Pharma was hit with an additional $8.3 billion in fines and penalties for their actions. Now, this caused them to have to liquidate the company. So keep in mind, $8.3 billion is what we're talking about at this point. In 2025, this year, Purdue Pharma, dissolved now, the Sackler family, who owned the company, had to pay an additional $7.5 billion over 15 years to settle family lawsuits. So $8.3 billion out of the company, $7.5 out of the family. Tug, they made $35 billion off OxyContin.
Yeah. So this was just the basically the cost of doing business. That's all it was. That's all that money was.
And Dr. Wright was never charged.
Yeah, of course, because there's 2 justice systems.
So when RFK Jr. tells you about how it's on you, it's your personal responsibility, and that these institutions have failed regular everyday Americans, that's what he's talking about. He flat out told you the way this system is set up, it's so Big Pharma can get their drugs to market. They get rubber stamped by the FDA, and then come what may, whatever happens after that, they then will pay the fines associated with them after they make their money.
Yeah, because that's the cost of doing business for them.
That's the process
all
now.
They see it as.
So every single time, and there's an overwhelming amount of things that hit the market and then get pulled off the market after there are safety signals, but it's not until people have been harmed and then they get pennies on the dollar. And in the case of when it came to Purdue Pharma and the Sackler family, they made $35 billion and ended up personally, their family, $7.5 billion that had to be spent on that.
Yeah, but they ultimately got out the door with $19 billion.
Plenty of money.
Plenty of money. Dude, the cost of doing business, that's all they see you as.
After 100,000 dead and 800,000 overdoses.
And nobody held responsible whatsoever.
Misdemeanor charges.
Yeah, dude, that's it. You killed 100,000 people and you got a misdemeanor charge? Get out of here.
So when I hear, Pocahontas telling me all about, the vaccine industry, and you have one senator after another, Bernie Sanders, you're going to do damage. Chris Christie, you're in over your head.
Good. I'm glad. I want him to rock the boat.
I'd rather have the attorney who knows how to deal with these companies.
And the other thing is, wonder what the number is for each of them. Because Bernie was asked, he's like, you're getting paid by pharma. We know that. Well, everybody in the room is.
Everybody in the room is.
Okay. You're trying to tell me that's better? Don't tell me how holy you are as you're taking money from pharmaceutical companies to promote their drugs or look the other way. Get out of here, dude.
Yeah, the numbers when RFK Jr. threw out at Pocahontas, that it was $850,000
That's what she
paid.
got, $850.
That's what he said. Now, Senator Bernie Sanders has received $1.9 million in lifetime contributions from pharmaceuticals. That is what's been able to track through public record from 1990 to 2024.
$1.9 million?
$1.9 million is what he's gotten over this period.
And Pocahontas is almost at $1 million at $850.
Yeah.
And then if you go through the entire list and just look at you wonder why these people are corrupt. Money corrupts everybody and everything. They might resist it for a while, but at some point the money gets to, well, I can pay off everything we owe. I can buy a new house. I could buy 2 new houses. I could buy 3 new houses, which is what Bernie Sanders did as he pretends to be holy man.
And by the way, Raphael Warnock, who hasn't been in the Senate that long.
Dude, and what an embarrassment to Georgia.
He's right behind Bernie Sanders at $1.7 million.
Of course he is.
He's basically had his hands out the entire time. So when he's going after RFK Jr.
And he actually pretends to be a holy man.
This is a dude who is corrupt as the day is long. So that's basically your story time. Just kind of let you know this whole system is rigged. This whole system is so dirty. And RFK Jr. happens to be the one person right now who's going, hey, this is all rigged and dirty, and we're trying to fix it.
Don't you realize? Don't you see what's happening? And I think for most Americans, they do.
Like, I think Americans actually believe that the FDA happens to test these. We tested the drugs ourselves.
Probably so.
It's like, no.
But I think most Americans are coming to the realization that's not the case, and probably over the last 5 years has been very eye-opening for the majority of the country.
Again, Operation Warp Speed removed the guardrails, but the guardrails exist. So it takes a drug, a product, a treatment, years to get to market. But it gets to market based on the amount of dollars in research that the company that is trying to sell it ends up putting in. It's their own. The wolves are guarding the hen house.
Exactly right. You took the word right out of my mouth. It's the people that are doing the research that are telling you the research is good. It'd be like asking an 8th grader to write a book report and then letting them grade their own book report.
I mean, think about this. If the story is what it is with Dr. Curtis Wright, that they were paying him $379,000 to $400,000, 3 times what he was making at the FDA, that is a drop in the bucket to make $35 billion on OxyContin.
Gosh, yeah.
And that's what they needed to do. At no impropriety. Yeah. Well, there's a reason why he's already had to be deposed a couple different times.
Yes. That's story time. If you didn't take notes the way you should have, go back and listen to it on the Xtra 106.3 app. It will be available there for you. 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Your Atlanta carrier expert, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. Antifa is the next goon squad in Trump's sights. Talk about it next on Xtra.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to Extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, September 8th. The Atlanta Falcons got beat in the final minute by the division rival Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Mercedes-Benz Stadium yesterday afternoon. The Falcons took a late lead before a late touchdown pass and a mixed extra point put the Falcons down by 3 in the final minute. Falcons kicker Younghoe Koo missed the game-tying field goal from 44 yards out. The Falcons now play the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday Night Football in Minnesota for week 2 of the season. From Major League Baseball, the visiting Seattle Mariners took 2 of 3 from the Atlanta Braves this past weekend, including an ugly 18-2 final on Sunday. The homestand continues as the Chicago Cubs are in town. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear that game live on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Now is the perfect time to set up a maintenance agreement with Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Why right now? Why is it perfect? Because think about the weather. It's comfortable outside. You're not depending on your air conditioning necessarily. You're not, and obviously not using the heat right now. So while we're in this pretty good area for good weather, call Central Heating and Air Conditioning. When you call them, you'll actually speak to a person that actually works for Chuck and his team at Central Heating and Air Conditioning, because they're Atlanta-based, actually Atlanta-based. No automation, none of that stuff that's so annoying when you call companies usually. But get somebody out there to do the maintenance, get ready for when the cooler weather does hit, have that taken care of, and then when we get through the winter and back to the spring and then into the summer, they'll come out again and make sure that your AC is going to work the way it's supposed to when it gets hot again. You see what I mean? They come out twice a year, just do the maintenance, have everything set up for you, and make sure that your HVAC works just as long as it possibly can. Maybe it's an older system. Maybe there's something wrong with it now. Again, perfect timing to get that repaired. They are your Atlanta Carrier experts, but they work on every different brand. So turn to the experts at Central Heating and Air Conditioning for a new Carrier system or to get repairs to your HVAC. But mainly, I want you to get that maintenance agreement so you never are in the situation where the heat don't work when it's cold or the AC doesn't work when it's hot outside. Chuck and his team at Central Heating and Air Conditioning invite you to call at 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com.
Fall is here, football is back, and so is the perfect time to celebrate with something unforgettable. From September 15th through the 21st, enjoy up to 60% off all bridal and fine jewelry in-store during our big Percentage Week sale. As proud partners of the Georgia Bulldogs and Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, we know what it means to shine on game day and every day. But hurry, once an item is gone, it's gone. Visit any of our 3 locations, Buckhead, Alpharetta, or Sharpsburg, or book your private appointment now at SolomonBrothers.com for the best selection and service. Family owned, trusted for generations, and home to Georgia's largest selection of fine jewelry. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, luxury, value, legacy. We will run out of the hottest items. Do book your appointment early and don't miss the Percentage Week, September 15th through 21st only. Solomon Brothers, where Georgia celebrates luxury, value, and legacy.
Hey, it's Los here to tell you about a new, stress-free, and completely transparent way to purchase your next pre-owned car, truck, or SUV. It's with Tom Mitchell, the Honest Car Guy. Tom, traditionally, I've been a payment buyer. How do you work with that type of buyer?
I have people that come in all the time and they want to spend $20,000. Okay, if their payments are $400 on $20,000, they don't realize without the doc fees, without all this other stuff, we can put them in a 22 or 23 model car and we can spend a little bit more money and have the same payment. So if you're a payment buyer, don't come in here just saying, I want to spend $20,000, because we can sit there and help you and we can put you in a newer car with lesser miles at a payment you need.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Oh no, what is that sound?
It's our rejection detection system. It's showing that several men across Georgia are being denied intimacy by their partners due to ED.
How can this be?
Well, it's more common than you think. As men age, their bodies change. And unfortunately, once they get over 50, some things don't work like they used to.
So what do we do?
There's only one thing to do. We need to get them to Dr. Eric Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. He can fix ED problems.
But how?
At Total Body Therapy of Georgia, they are experts in the P-shot, testosterone replacement, regenerative therapy, and Trimex to create an erection and more.
Hi, this is Dr. Eric Deal from Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Did you know that 50% of men over 50 struggle with some form of ED? Guys, it won't get better on its own. When it's not hard, it's really hard. But I can help you today. Call us at Total Body Therapy of Georgia at 404-777-1911 or learn more about us online at tbtofga.com.
Hey, this is John Flading. I'm the president and owner of ATL Turf Co. We have become a highly sought-after turf installation company in the Atlanta and North Georgia luxury residential market. The big reason for that is our installers are ATL Turf Co. employees. We do not outsource labor. They are trained to be experts in the turf installation process, drainage, grading. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is Xtra 1063. We're at XTRA 1063 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Xtra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Xtra 1063 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
Thanks for being here on the Morning Extra and Extra 1063. Tug and Los until 10. App, best way to listen. That way you can listen live and on demand. If you miss story time or any part of it, go back and listen to it on the app. Make sure you take some notes. It will blow your mind, especially today. So much good information, so many great details about the opioid crisis that our country faced and still faces to this day, to be honest.
The structure by which the FDA does what it does. So when you have people, oh my God, they're ruining the CDC and the FDA. Yeah, they need it.
Yes. Turn over that apple cart because they are not doing anything to benefit that I can tell. And I'm not saying that about everybody that works there, but certainly in the hierarchy of people there are doing things for what it seems like all the wrong reason. Donald Trump trying to set a whole bunch of cities straight. And there is a new city that I haven't even heard about recently. Not because it doesn't need to get cleaned up, but it just hadn't been part of the Baltimore, the Chicago, trying to fix sending in troops or whatever, some sort of folks to help fix the crime problems.
It seems like low-hanging fruit because in Baltimore, largely it's the gang populations that are shooting each other up. Same thing in Chicago. In D.C., it was a youth population that was just causing havoc in the streets. Same thing you get to an extent in Chicago as well. Portland is really about Antifa. Like, if you've ever been to the Pacific Northwest, first off, just beautiful area.
Oh, my gosh, so stunning.
Such a great area.
I've only been once, but I couldn't believe it, man. It is one of the prettiest places I've ever been.
It's incredible.
I went to Seattle.
Seattle's great. Portland's great. It's just a great area. And so to see that Antifa operates in the streets there and that they're always masked up and they're causing problems. Like they had a Department of Homeland Security officer that was walking and you had like 8 Antifa members. Boy, some of them were fat. That were giving him a hard time. And all I could think of was, man, it'd be really cool if the government actually rolled in there and just said, oh, you're Antifa? We're going to bust some heads.
Yeah, we're fixing this.
We're going to fix this right now. And so to hear Donald Trump say this over the weekend, I turned into the monkey with the cymbals. Like I was so excited. I was just banging them together. I'm like, bust Antifa heads. I love that. Like when we had one that got shot for Cop City.
Yep.
That guy got blown away in his tent. I was real sad. Take a listen to what Donald Trump had to say.
National Guard, have you decided which city that you want to go into next?
Yeah, I have. I have. I'm not going to say it now, but yeah, I have. We're going to go into another place and straighten it out. And I will say this: I watched today. I didn't know that was continuing to go on, but Portland is unbelievable. What's going on in Portland? The destruction of the city.
Are you going into Portland?
Well, I'm going to look at it now because I didn't know that was still going on. This has been going on for years. So we'll be able to stop that very easily.
I have no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, look at how quickly it turned around in D.C.
They basically act like children there. And they play.
They've been encouraged to.
Yeah, they play anarchist every single weekend. And look how strong. Okay, you roll in the National Guard. These dudes will bend over so quickly. They'll be like, how do we get out of here?
They will fold
It's like, run
up.
home to your mom. Go home. Go to your basement.
Yep, they'll go back to the basement. Exactly. They'll be down there playing video games and talking on headsets.
Can't wait to be back out in the streets.
As soon as these National Guard troops are gone,
as soon as they leave,
we're right back out there. Yeah. Dude, I love the fact that Donald Trump is willing to do whatever it takes to clean these cities up. And I have a feeling that the real people, not the people that they interview on the news, not the people that report the news, real Americans are so appreciative. We use the example of the guy that Don Lemon stopped on the street, checked all the boxes. He thought he was going to get an answer that he wanted. Turns out the man was like, nah, I hope Donald Trump comes to, and that was in Baltimore. I hope he comes to Baltimore.
I don't know how we lose our taste for it outside of if there's some violent reaction from one of these mob groups or something, and something weird goes on, because largely when you talk to anyone in these communities and when you talk to anybody who's on our side, they don't have a problem with it.
Why would they?
Just go fix a crime problem. Now, if you want to tell me, well, this is about the occupation force that exists in these American cities, well, sometimes you need that. I'm right here telling you, the biggest difference in, let's say, for instance, what was going on with Tim Walz versus Donald Trump. Said this a couple weeks ago, I'll reiterate it. Tim Walz used the National Guard to keep you in your house. Donald Trump is using the National Guard to make sure you can walk on your streets safely.
Yeah, these are the same people that would call the police on you for not wearing your mask or doing something outside during COVID that you weren't supposed to. Those are the same people saying that we're under, some sort of,
no, it's a police state.
Police state.
Hold
yes,
on
exactly.
a second. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, we're under a police state, but I just called the police on you because you didn't wear your mask.
I mean, we actually had phone numbers in Minnesota. If you see your neighbor having too many people over,
dude,
here's the number to call.
That wasn't just in Minnesota, man. That was a lot of places.
And you think that I'm concerned about using the National Guard to make sure that people can walk freely on their streets?
Nope.
And be safe doing so because there's a larger presence of authority? I have no problem with this.
I've never spoken to a person that's ever told me that they're okay with what Antifa does in Portland and Seattle, like with their autonomous zones and all the crazy stuff. I've never had one single person, Los, ever tell me that they're okay with that, ever. Maybe I don't hang out with enough.
Maybe you don't know enough fascists.
Crazy libs, But I've never even heard Aunt Peg say, "Yeah, man, the autonomous zone's a good idea." I've never even heard her say it.
The problem with Antifa, they've always been the rabid dog. They have been the street animal that the communists can use. Now, the rabid dog is not useful right now. It was useful for a time. It actually makes the left look bad.
5 or 6 years, it was really, really useful because they got away with so much.
But now that people have gotten a taste of what it's like to have actual security, actual safety, that's one of those it's not even 80-20. It's like 90-10.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, please explain to me how you're concerned about a police state. You're actually having to pay people to show up to D.C. to protest, because if you don't pay them, they don't show up. There's not enough people that care.
It's not because they would like to live in the city.
Yes.
And not get held up or not get carjacked. Imagine that. Going to D.C. and not being afraid of getting carjacked.
So good not to get carjacked on your weekend vacation in D.C.
But then you got some white libs, because that's all it is. I mean, the overwhelming 99.9% of paid white libs that do a spontaneous protest.
That no one has really gone to Southside Chicago and asked them what they think. Like, go to Southside Chicago. First off, you're going to be really nervous doing it. But go to Southside Chicago, ask them what they think about a larger presence to try and clean things up. Overwhelming amount of people will probably tell you, yeah, absolutely. I have zero doubt about it.
They're about to get it. They're about to get it because Donald Trump just got approved.
Only one person doesn't want it. It's the mayor.
That's the mayor, exactly. Well, maybe the governor.
And the governor.
Yeah, too. And the other thing is, the base that I went to boot camp in, Great Lakes, right there north of Chicago, is going to be the housing place for all the troops and the ICE agents and all that sort of stuff. So that's already been approved. Pete Hegseth approved that, I think, over the weekend. So now they have a base to work out of. To plan operations. You get ready. They're about to change some things in Chicago, Portland, maybe Louisiana and New Orleans. Dude, the things that Donald Trump would like to accomplish are going to be good for people, regular people, not the people you see on TV, not the crazy people that support Antifa, the crazy libs, regular, everyday Americans like you and I.
You know why this is not being polled? Because
it'll be off the charts.
It'll be off the charts.
That's exactly right.
This is why you're not getting polled.
They already know. I mean, just in the small sample we have, there's a reason Muriel Bowser was like, yeah, it was the right thing to do so quickly. Because the feedback, I'm sure, was instantaneous for her. And she goes, man, if I don't support this, I'm going to look like a fool in front of the entire world. So, yes. When we continue, finally, a Fed governor using some common sense. Next on Extra.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
I guess it's natural, me being an attorney, that I get interested in the Supreme Court and its decisions. One Supreme Court decision in 2005 irritated me, alarmed me, scared me more than any other decision I've ever heard of or read. Kelo versus New London, Connecticut. The Supreme Court said that under the Fifth Amendment, the government of New London could seize some nice waterfront property and give it to some private developers if they promised to build some homes on it that would produce more tax revenue than the property was producing. It was wrong then, it's wrong now. No property is safe. Under that ruling, any developer could go to a government and say, look, the house on that acre over there is really dilapidated. Seize it, give it to me. I'll build a house that will pay you double that in property taxes. So now it's happening again. Near Trenton, New Jersey, a family farm owned by the family for 175 years. The township of Cranberry, New Jersey, wants that land. Yes, they want to hand it off to some developers, so the developer will produce some low-income housing over the next decade. The units will be owned and operated by a private developer. There's a community not far from where I live in Naples called Naples Park. There are some homes in Naples Park that were built during World War II. Single-car garage, maybe 1,000 square feet, but it's prime property. All we need is some developer around here to say, look, condemn a whole block of these homes, hand it over to me, and I'll build homes that will sell for $800,000 a piece. Imagine the tax revenue. This is a complete outrage. Under our laws and Constitution, this should never be allowed to happen. But maybe you'd better take a look at your property. Could some developer build something nicer on your property that would pay more taxes? Be afraid. Be very afraid. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Securing America.
A major milestone for clean energy aviation hit recently. A solar-powered drone called Sky Dweller was in the air for 73 hours without needing to land to fuel. It's a joint collaboration between the Navy and Sky Dweller Aero. The testing happened in Mississippi under the leadership of the Naval Air Warfare Center Aircraft Division. One of the biggest hurdles of the 3-day test flight was storing enough energy during daylight so the drone could continue flying throughout the night. Engineers said it also handled real-time autonomous decisions like adapting to turbulent weather and keeping up secure communications. Sky Dweller has a wingspan of a Boeing 747, but only weighs about as much as a Ford F-150 truck, around 4,000 to 6,000 pounds. The wings are covered in solar panels, which powers 4 electric propeller engines. Sky Dweller only logged 220 flight hours during the test, but engineers think it would be possible to stay in the air for much longer than the 73-hour test, possibly even for weeks at a time. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on.
He's not just the defendant, he's also his own lawyer. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and jury selection is getting underway to put the suspect in the second Trump assassination attempt on trial.
This morning, we expect to see Ryan Ruth for the first time without shackles. Federal Judge Eileen Cannon has ordered him to wear business attire while he represents himself in the courtroom.
Fox's Dana Marie McNichol outside the court in Fort Pierce, Florida, where opening statements are planned for Thursday.
Ruth faces 5 federal charges, including attempted assassination of a major presidential candidate, possession of a firearm, in furtherance of a crime of violence, assaulting a federal officer.
Ruth was arrested with a rifle near the Trump Country Club in West Palm Beach as the then candidate was golfing last September. The president says he'll decide the next day or two whether to send National Guard troops to Chicago in a crime crackdown like Washington, D.C. He clarified to reporters at Truth Social Post that Chicago is about to find out why it's called the Department of War, referring to his rebranding of defense.
We're not going to war. We're going to clean up our cities. We're going to clean them up so they don't kill 5 people every weekend. That's not war. That's common sense.
Now, Chicago's mayor says troops won't be welcome. Illinois' governor, also a Democrat, threatens a lawsuit. In another Truth Social Post, President Trump wrote Israel's agreed to a ceasefire deal for Gaza, warning Hamas to also accept it or face the consequences. Israel is calling a shooting this morning at a bus stop a terror attack. Gunmen killed 6 people in Jerusalem until an off-duty Israeli soldier and armed civilians shot the shooters dead.
The attack occurred at the Ramat Junction bus station on the northern end of Jerusalem. Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar was told of the attack just after landing earlier this morning in Budapest.
There are many injured, including pregnant women. We pray for them.
Social media postings on channels operated by Hamas celebrated the killings, but stopped short of taking responsibility for them.
That's Fox's Eben Brown. America's listening to Fox News.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're a different kind of wireless company dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Because let's face it, our needs are different. Big wireless unlimited plans are designed for 20-somethings, not us. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on one thing, bringing you affordable, reliable rate plans that suit your needs, not ours. How do we do that? We start by using the same towers as the big guys, the exact same towers. We then create rate plans designed for your usage. The fact is, we can offer you an unlimited plan with the same network quality for less because we understand how you use wireless services. Our plans start at just $20 a month. And forget trying to chat with robots. You'll get 100% US-based award-winning customer service when you need help. Come find out how wireless should be and join the millions who've made the switch.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
I wake up every morning with the Morning Extra.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra at Extra 1063, 9 o'clock hour, where the wheels usually come off the bus and we talk about things that aren't necessarily part of the normal conversation. Things that get a little sideways. Sometimes people call in and prompt discussions that nobody expects.
You had so much bourbon over the weekend.
Buddy.
Really impressed. You went to a Georgia game. You dealt with the rain.
Yes. I've never had that happen before.
You helped out people that were in a wheelchair.
I did. Pushed them up a hill. Dude, I was so out of breath, I could have thrown up. I'm talking.
all this work you're putting in with your trainer, and you're like, it's tough.
Dude, because we don't do a lot of
cardio work.
Yeah, cardio work.
Okay.
It's more weights
Lifting,
and stuff. Yeah. Which is good too, but I need to work.
Well, you build up that muscle; it burns through fat quicker. So I mean, if you're gonna choose between the two, I'd choose muscle building.
But I clearly need to put a little cardio in, because I pushed this man up this long hill leading up to Broad Street over to where their car was, coming from the stadium, about halfway from the stadium when you get to whatever the cross street was, and then up the hill to Broad. And dude, I pushed that thing up the hill and thought I was going to die. It took me about 20 minutes to reclaim my breath.
Did he give you a nickel afterwards?
He did not, but he was so appreciative, and I wouldn't have taken it anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. It was, it was just pouring rain, or getting ready to pour rain. It was already, and I was like, oh my God. Me and my cousin Nick both were asked almost at the exact same time, like, y'all need some help? And the lady was so grateful, probably early 60s, somewhere in there, maybe mid 60s. But, we just gave him a little boost up the hill, because they were about to get stuck in a monsoon. And they didn't, thankfully.
Were you visited by my fear, my irrational fear? Do you ever think to yourself?
Tornado,
no, I don't know. Tornadoes, I grew up in Texas, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, I've seen tornadoes. Yeah. Like, oh, look, there's a tornado.
Yeah, F5, got nothing on me.
Like, whatever.
No, yours lightning, isn't it?
I'm always firmly convinced that I'm going to be hit by lightning.
Yeah. No, I don't have that. I've never been frightened of lightning, and I'm almost the exact opposite. Like, I probably should have a little more fear than I do. It just doesn't bother me at all.
I just believe, because I've always been that person where, like, I build up static electricity pretty easily. Like, I'm the person where I've gone to the gas station and I've seen the spark come off my hand when I
really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, well, that gives you reason.
So I just imagine that lightning one day will try and bring me home. And I think that sounds awful.
No, it does. It sounds like a terrible way to go, for sure. Good heavens. But no, I don't have that. I don't have that fear. To be honest, I don't think I have an irrational fear. Maybe there is one, I'm not thinking of it, but I can't think of an irrational fear I have. I don't have fear of sharks in the ocean. I don't have fear of lightning, and I'm not like super brave guy or anything. It's just that stuff never really hits my radar screen for whatever reason.
I think my problem is that my mind gets racing, and you start building up when I'm out in the ocean.
Yeah,
I like it.
Me too.
And I never start thinking about, like, what's under the water or how big or how crazy. Like, my mind doesn't run away that way. It's different when the storm rolls in. Now, as long as I'm, covered patio, a deck, I'm like, it's cool. I like big weather.
Yeah, me too.
When I'm out in the open, I don't.
Yeah, I feel like I don't have any safety.
Like at that football game.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd have been out of those stands faster than anybody underneath the pavilion.
See, we waited for a while. We waited through the 15 minutes, which would have been what halftime was, and then probably another, 10 minutes afterwards. But I could tell you just smell the rain. I was like, I even told Nick, I was like, man, I don't know, man. It feels like it's about to come down. He pulls out the phone and looks at the weather radar app that he has, and he's like, yeah, it's right over top of us. We should probably go. And sure enough, man, we get just down the way from the stadium, and the skies just open up. And there's some pictures, I don't know if you've seen them, of like huge bolts of lightning in the distance that kind of are behind the stadium.
I was curious if that was moving from east to west, because we caught a pretty nasty storm about an hour or two before kickoff. And so when you started getting word that kickoff's going to be at 2:30 and here's what they expect to come through and maybe they get the game in, I imagine that same storm system that we were catching a part of is probably what rolled in on y'all.
Probably so. And let me tell you, it was
a show.
Monsoon.
It was a show at my house.
I mean, for an hour and a half to 2 hours, it rained cats and dogs. We went up into a one of the bars right there on Broad, and just stayed there for a good hour and 15 minutes.
Just do lines and hang out.
Yeah, that's sweet. Exactly right. Yeah, and more bourbon. That too.
I like when the other studio looks over us like, did he just?
Yeah, what did you say?
Yeah, that's what. You didn't know this about
that's
Tug?
The way I roll. Yes,
that's
of course.
what Tug does.
Yeah, absolutely, that's the way I roll.
Say that Eagle Rare is good stuff.
Yeah,
it goes down real easy.
Yeah, dude. Let me tell you that did go down easy. I'd never had that before. Have you ever drank Eagle Rare before?
No.
I hadn't either up until cousin Nick brings it over Friday night, and we got to putting it away, and my wife goes, "Did y'all drink that whole bottle?" And I was like,
"Yeah,
yes, ma'am, we did." And
what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about it? What do you think about it?
What do you think about that?
Yeah. No, she was impressed because we were so even keeled.
You're Clubber Lang. What of it, woman?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'd forgotten how good that is. Clubber Lang. Was that Rocky 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was crazy because there's been times when you drink between the two people, drink a whole, bottle, and you're just off the rails on the crazy train.
And
we weren't at all.
Quality stuff. It's not anywhere near as bad.
I guess so, man. I felt steady the whole night.
I will say, if I introduce something that I'm not used to, for instance, bourbon, that would have been a problem.
Well, yeah, but you're
because I'm not a regular bourbon drinker.
You're a vodka
Whereas,
drinker.
I know if I pace myself over an entire evening with a little bit of vodka, and I'm mixing it with my Sprite Zero, I know that I will keep the train on the tracks.
Yeah.
If you introduce something I'm not used to,
yeah, exactly.
Never mix that clear with the dark liquor.
No,
that is bad news bears.
No.
Dude, see, I don't have no problem with that. Like, I can go. It doesn't matter to me.
You're playing with fire.
You want to have my brain
issue.
go off the rails? It's here. What? Like, I'm not a shot taker on a regular basis.
I don't enjoy.
Like, I'll take a shot with you, but I'm not like, hey, let's do
not
shots.
Encouraging. Yeah.
No.
But that happened a couple times while we were at the bar. Everybody was like, "We're in here stuck. Let's just do shots," And I'm like, no, I'm thinking in my head, "No, I'm good. And Nick hands it to me, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, fine,
okay,
I will."
All right.
And then we're at Stoner Pizza. It's a new joint, and the pizza's so good, and we were able to get right in and not have to wait forever.
Because they saw you, they're like, ballers, look.
Yes, look at there.
Adults with real money.
This woman came in. She was like a rep from J&J. She was very boisterous. She had a loud outfit on, but was as sweet as she could possibly be. And she was like, we just happened to talk to her. She was ordering food, not planning to stay, just going to order it and get to go, but hanging out there watching football and talking while the order was getting ready. She was like, "We should do shots," and she bought them for us. I ain't never met the lady a day in my life.
Phone number?
No. She was like, "Here, what kind of tequila do you want?" I'm like, "Oh
Lord, you're doing bourbon and tequila the same day,
dude."
She was trying to pick up on young Tug Coward.
No, I don't think she was.
She wanted to share lines with you.
No, I don't think she did.
She was like, "Let's do rails."
Yeah, she worked at J&J. She was good to go. She was training people for Johnson & Johnson. But she did. She lined them up a couple times. Not even one, twice, I think.
Not even one, twice. Yep.
Yeah, and it was, what's George Clooney's tequila?
Casamigos?
That, yes.
It's good stuff.
That's what she lined up.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I'd never had it. Turned out it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good.
I tried to pay her for it, but she wouldn't take it. Just super nice lady.
Buddy of mine does the Casamigos Reposado. That's like his drink of choice.
Is that the one with the jalapeno?
Well, I mean, you can drop whatever you want in there.
Okay, because they had one of them that was jalapeno tequila.
Reposado is, I think, one of the darker ones, right, Los?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have your Añejo, your Reposado.
Well, that's experience talking right there.
Me and tequila get along pretty good.
I can tell. You know it well. I don't have any idea. I just knew this one had it said jalapeno on the front or something. And then we tried to get her to do one of those. And she was like, "Oh no, I don't want a part of that. No."
When we go to certain places, when we're at volleyball tournaments,
yeah,
that Casamigos Reposado, there's been times where good buddy of mine, Logan Breen, likes to.
What's up?
That's his drink of choice.
Yeah.
There's been times where I've said well, here, let me get this tab, and he's like, "No, man, mine costs $40."
No, yeah,
sure enough, because it's like $20. Now, if you're in like a nicer hotel, like where these tournaments are at, yeah, he's got a $40 drink in his hand.
Yeah, I don't know what it was at Stoner's Pizza, but the lady just would not allow us to pay her for them. She was just, and then as soon as her food came out, she's like, "Y'all have a good night," and just went about her way.
I'm off to go find more drugs.
Yeah, she was probably
and shots.
She was, I don't know, she's probably late 50s, somewhere around in there, wearing a Bob Marley, One Love, like fedora kind of thing. You run into the funniest people in college towns, don't you?
Yeah, it's a good time.
I mean, it is of all shapes and all sizes and all backgrounds, and everybody just loves Georgia and gets along.
It's a judgment-free zone. The nice part about when you're in town on a game day weekend, there is no one who looks at you for being a little intoxicated at 10 a.m.
No,
It's like, good.
Nick did his first shot at 10.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah, I ain't even got to Athens yet. He's already done.
It's like an outdoor airport. Yeah. Like nobody questions you for drinking at 9:30 in the morning at an airport. Same thing when you're in an SEC, ACC, or Big Ten town on a game day.
You know what he said his biggest takeaway from being in Athens was? He said, "I have never before in my life been in a place where everybody was pulling for the team that I was pulling for. I've never had that experience."
No, I guess that's rare, yeah.
Yeah, because he's always gone and, watched them at the cocktail party, half the stadium.
Yeah, half the stadium, Florida, and half Georgia.
Yeah, went to Alabama to see them get destroyed last year. And he was like, obviously, everybody's cheering for Alabama. I've never been to a football game where everybody was cheering for the same team. And he was like, I just couldn't wait to say go Dogs to somebody.
Well, they've got such a great home schedule. I got to figure out when.
We got to go.
Yeah.
We have to go. And it was good because we thought maybe Los was going to be able to come along with us, and it ultimately didn't play out that way. You had to get
that's some family stuff.
The daughters to volleyball, which is the most important, completely understood. But Nick, he was like, "Hey, where's your buddy? Is he coming?" Like he was ready to just and the more the merrier.
I believe my text message the night before was because y'all were into the bourbon. I said, "Why don't you let your neighbors know so they know y'all are real ones?"
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we kept it down. We didn't get too crazy, which I cannot understand. It's just like you said, the better stuff, I guess. But yeah, we got to do that very soon. It'll be so much fun to just experience that and go hang out and watch the Dogs play. Georgia Tech got a big win too. Good for them. Play Gardner Webb. They did exactly what they're supposed to do.
Big game this weekend with Clemson.
That and the Georgia game are the biggest two games on their schedule. If they win either one or both of those, there's not a chance they're not showing up in the playoffs.
Well, you're at a position where Georgia Tech's going to host. Surprisingly, Clemson's just a 4.5-point favorite in this game. I thought that was going to be a lot larger of a number when you saw that on the schedule, but Clemson has not played well.
They have not, and they proved when they were losing at halftime to Troy that they're beatable. And who did they play out of the gate?
They ended up losing to LSU.
There you go.
That was a pretty solid game, but that makes you rethink, okay, what exactly is LSU? Because LSU, they weren't especially impressive this weekend. Again, Georgia wasn't especially impressive, and they were a 7-point favorite in Knoxville against Tennessee.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. Although I do believe there's value in them dropping a couple spots because then Kirby can use that for bulletin board material, on the show. Dude.
He's got a full 4 quarters that he can bash them for. Now that they can run the football and they play defense. So it's like, all right. And you're not showing anything your first couple of weeks anyway. This upcoming week is going to be the game where you're like, all right, let's see what they got.
You're going to see what actually Gunnar Stockton can do. That's going to be the most important thing. And that's what I kept telling Nick, because he's not a guy that keeps up with sports like you. I say you and I. You definitely even more than I, just being in the numbers the way you are. he was like, man, it's just, it's tough to see him struggle like that a little bit. I was like, man, wait till next week, then tell me what the team is or is not against Tennessee. That's when I think I'll have a good idea. Not against two throwaway games that you knew were going to be, wins. You knew that was going to come down and last as a victory. Even though, and it was so funny, the people around us that, there's a handful of Austin Peay fans that were there. And this one lady sitting in the next section over, but we're like seat 1 and 2 on row 50 or whatever it was. Lady next to us on the other section, she was like, let's go Peay. Let's go Peay. She kept screaming that. And I was just like, I think I'd come up with a better cheer. What do you mean, let's go Peay?
You don't think that one's going to work?
No, I think that was terrible. Let's go Peay. And I was like, man, bathrooms are up that way. Just giving them a hard time. And everybody thought it was funny around us.
I had to let my wife know. She's like, they have ridiculous looking helmets. What a ridiculous logo. And
the governor?
Yeah. I was like, well, you're up by 10.
Yeah, that's right. Don't put them too hard.
Why don't we go ahead and focus on things that really are important right now?
That's exactly right. Let's go Peay. Let's go.
She did ask me. She's like, where in Austin are they located?
Austin. They're in Clarksville, Tennessee.
I go, it's Tennessee.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure it's a good little school. Clarksville's a good town not far from Nashville. And there was, I saw a great post on social media, guy that was playing for Austin Peay from here in Georgia, grew up a Georgia fan, so she was posting about her son getting the start in Sanford Stadium against Georgia. But, they were just talking about how much they loved Athens and how much they loved Georgia, but it was great for him to be able to start against them. And just that experience of being in the stadium when there's, 90,000, 92,000.
I judge everything off their volleyball program.
Yeah, well,
I'm like, feel free to recruit my daughter.
Augusta, man, I've been trying to keep up with Augusta just on y'all's behalf.
I'm going to send her to camp there.
You need to, man. It's going to be so good. And at least you'd have somebody, with Jacob being there, somebody can say, hey, here's the goods and the bads about being on campus. So far, he's not had one negative. He's like, I've enjoyed
that's great.
Every bit of my experience so far in Augusta. I mean, granted, he's only been there, since beginning of August. But
I think you have a pretty good idea when, again, early on when you're like, maybe I didn't make the right decision.
Oh, sure.
If you're loving it already, you're in a good place.
Yeah, I think so too. And he was like, coaching staff's been great. All the new hires, strength and conditioning coach been great. Man, he's just had nothing but praise. When we continue on Extra 106.3, we'll get into some of the possibilities of a rate cut and why that's important. And maybe even a little bit of a revival in America. Next on Extra.
Extra 106.3 app is your live connection to the station, streaming free across Georgia. But it's also loaded with all our original shows and podcasts. Listen to exclusive shows from Janelle King, Ben Burnett, and so many more. Grab the Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
Good morning, it's Los, but let's talk about Tom, the Honest Car Guy. First off, honestcarguy.com. You can go and check out the website, honestcarguy.com, or you can give Tom a call, 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1. It's a very simple process. Tom is remaking how this works when it comes to acquiring your next vehicle. First off, Tom will tell you, hey, 1960 to 2025, you tell him the vehicle, you get in the make and model, he's going to find it for you anywhere around the country. Now, here's the other cool part. Tom is going to be able to have you bypass all the fees that you deal with from a traditional dealership. Do you really think you're not paying for that entire sales staff? Did you think that you weren't paying for all the free coffee there? Did you really think that when they added the barbershop that you weren't paying for that too? Yes, that is what you're going to avoid working with Tom, the Honest Car Guy. He's going to give you the bill of sale, and all you owe Tom once you've acquired that vehicle is just the honesty fee. That's it. That's the compensation for Tom for doing the work. As he's told me, you find that car anywhere in the country, he can put it in your driveway within 72 hours. Oftentimes, it's even faster than that. You want to be part of the process? It's completely transparent. You want to spend some time with Tom? Not a problem. Or if you just want to tell Tom, find me this vehicle, get it back to me, Tom will do it from there. Whatever you prefer, that's how Tom will get it done. Again, give him a call, 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1.
Summer is here, and it's time to enjoy your outdoor oasis as a family. Don't know where to begin? At Stovall & Company, we have everything you need to make your landscaping dreams come true. From premium mulch and topsoil to a wide variety of plants, trees, shrubs, and annuals, Stovall has it all. Check us out at StovallInc.com.
This is Bruce Hagen. The law in Georgia has changed, and if you have been injured in a car crash, it's going to be harder than ever to get insurance companies to treat you fairly. What you need is a real lawyer on your side, not some phony TV or billboard lawyer who doesn't even know how to get to the courthouse. I've been a Georgia super lawyer for 20 straight years, and we try cases and we win. We get results for our clients. Call me, get in touch, hagen-law.com. We are real lawyers who will win your personal injury case.
Hey Braves Country, Tom Glavine here. Want to drive like a champion? Start with a clean car from Tidal Wave Auto Spa. With cutting-edge equipment and elite customer service, it's more than a car wash, it's a win. Experience the ultimate clean at Tidal Wave Auto Spa, my go-to car wash destination and the official car wash of the Atlanta Braves.
My car is happy, I am happy, Tidal Wave Auto Spa.
September is Fan Appreciation Month at Truist Park, and you don't want to miss out as the Nationals and Pirates come to town September 22nd through the 28th. Fans can look forward to the Ronald Acuna Jr. bobblehead giveaway presented by Truist, Los Bravos Night powered by Georgia Power, the Kids Club Appreciation Party, and so much more, with tickets starting at just $7. There's a great seat no matter your budget. Head to Braves.com/promos for all the details. Atlanta Braves Baseball, we are Braves Country.
Here's the tale of the daily med fill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap Good RX, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. The deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang, that one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're a different kind of wireless company dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Because let's face it, our needs are different. Big wireless unlimited plans are designed for 20-somethings, not us. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on one thing, bringing you affordable, reliable rate plans that suit your needs, not ours. How do we do that? We start by using the same towers as the big guys, the exact same towers. We then create rate plans designed for your usage. The fact is, we can offer you an unlimited plan with the same network quality for less because we understand how you use wireless services. Our plans start at just $20 a month. And forget trying to chat with robots. You'll get 100% US-based award-winning customer service when you need help. Come find out how wireless should be and join the millions who've made the switch.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's a Kimmer. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster. Trump is saying Liberation Day in terms of sending police into Washington, D.C. So now LaMonica is letting us all know that Liberation Day is another way of saying white power.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app. The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Monday, September 8th. More than 300 South Korean nationals were detained during an ICE raid at the Hyundai electric vehicle plant in Georgia. The South Korean government is negotiating their release and return home. ICE officials said many of the workers had crossed the U.S. border illegally and others were here on expired visas. The FBI is offering a $10,000 reward for information on a Kennesaw man connected to assaults on government facilities. Ronald Watson, also known by Sarah Watson, Miranda Kyle, and Emily Smith, was convicted of arson and destruction of government property in 2022. Watson was also convicted of assaulting an officer in Oregon. If you have any information, contact the FBI through their website or 1-800-CALL-FBI. And over 1,000 people gathered at Truist Park on Saturday to honor 9/11 first responders in the annual Memorial Stair Climb. Many of the participants were first responders themselves, wearing their full gear as they climbed 110 steps, simulating the 110 flights of stairs 9/11 first responders climbed as the 24th anniversary approaches. Today's weather, mostly sunny and breezy with highs in the low 80s. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
I'm told that Jessica Tarlov is just the nicest lady in the world. That's what a friend of the show, Joey Jones, lives in Calhoun, from Dalton, Georgia, just salt of the earth kind of dude, served his country, was obviously seriously wounded, and now has done so many extraordinary things and ended up working with Jessica at Fox News. He does The Five. He's done, that show a few times, and he's worked with her on other occasions, and guarantees me that she is just the best. But what I can't look away from, Los, is the times that she's wrong, just how wrong she is.
I'm curious where she gets her information. Like, I understand if you're in your own echo chamber and so you kind of make up your own reality. But Jessica Tarlov will routinely say things like when she will point out, she's done this more than plenty of times, well, Donald Trump, his numbers are falling with his voters. And you're like, hold on a second. He's more popular than any president since Barack Obama. It's like, where exactly is this failure? Where exactly are you getting this data? Because even a guy like Harry Enton at CNN will point out this is how popular he is as he goes through a multitude of polls. So where are you getting your information, Tarlov? Here's what I will point out this time around. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. made it a point that unless, and this is what he told in front of the Senate committee last week, he's like, if there is not good data for a particular drug, a vaccine, a treatment, then they're not mandating it. That was his point. Now, does that mean it's still available to you? Yeah, sure. I mean, if you want to.
Yeah, we had all the Looney Tunes go out and get the jab
COVID
just
shots.
to do it.
Like, look, I'm showing him who's boss.
Do it no matter what you say.
Okay, great.
Fine,
you're that person.
Yeah, you're that crazy.
I was like, all right, fine, have at it.
There you go.
I was like, I'm not interested, never been interested. But I want you to take a listen. With that being said, remember, the mandates are over with. If you want to send your kid to school and your state says, well, they're going to need a COVID shot, that's gone. You don't have to worry about that. That's no longer being pushed by the FDA or the CDC. So listen to Tarlov as she now starts pointing out what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has done.
You promised to uphold the highest standards for vaccines and have not done so.
What vaccines has he denied someone?
Oh, right. COVID-19. Exactly.
Who can't get a COVID-19
Eric
shot?
Erickson's wife, to begin, and Bill Cassidy used...
Wait a second. You mean you can't walk into your doctor's office and get a COVID-19 shot?
Why don't you ever prepare? Why don't you prepare? Kathy Hochul had to
Is
do
this
it.
true?
No, it's not true. No, it is true,
He reclassified it.
Stop.
He reclassified
Haley,
it.
you
can
now
still
need
get
a prescription, and CVS and Walgreens is denying it to people because of the quote-unquote regulatory environment. You can thumb your nose at it. You are healthy and lucky you.
This is why
but there are
even
sick
Senator
people.
Warren, I assume you look up to Senator Warren. She said effectively denied. Effectively.
Well, Bill
Notice the
Cassidy
money.
did it.
Insurance doesn't cover it if you're healthy.
No,
is
that's
that what
not
you're
what I
talking
mean.
about?
I mean that you need a prescription to get it. It is becoming...
No, not true.
Dude, we've seen the crazy lefty loonies right before we started.
You can just
How
go
many
get
of
it.
them? Yeah, are going in there. They have 2 Band-Aids.
It's like trying to say I need a prescription for a flu shot.
No, you don't. They ask you when you go through the drive-thru at CVS. They're like, hey, you want a flu shot?
Hey, you want a flu shot?
Have you had your flu shot? No, thank you. I don't want any part of that either. Just being completely honest. But there's no fear
So why
of
is she
anybody-
telling Jesse Waters, like, why don't you prepare?
Yeah, as
Prepare
she's
for
not
what?
prepared. As she's not prepared. As she's out there sharing wrong information that makes no sense.
Just to be upset? Now, I get it. I think she's an important person to have on the 5 because she
Like
does
a lightning rod character?
She does make people crazy. It's just that where is your information coming from? Because as I joke around about it, if it's from Reddit or Mother Jones, this is why you end up on this side of the argument on a regular basis
Every
where
time.
you look like somebody who is not prepared.
And then have the gall to ask Jesse Waters why are you coming not prepared? Dude, isn't that something though? Isn't that just the way that the left acts?
And only in her view is people have to go fight for a COVID shot.
Yeah, I'm going to go bang down the door to make sure I can get it. Dude, it's insane. Don't you wish she had as many questions for Dr. Fauci as she does for RFK? Do you wish
it'd be helpful?
Wouldn't it? Just for 1 second, could you ask the same amount of questions of Dr. Fauci as you do RFK? Because that I know of, she's never asked a question one about Dr. Fauci. She is just like, yes, whatever, give me that. It is so interesting to see the way that all shakes out. And I know as a guy that has been so out front on the COVID vax, and believe that
I
Dr.
took all
Fauci,
the slings and arrows on that one.
Yeah. But turned out to be right. And Jessica Tarloff continues to turn out to be wrong. It happens over and over and over again. And none of them, none of those on the left, they would never. Maybe they are loyal to a fault.
Well, and I'll give you another example. Let's move over to Rosie O'Donnell. Now, Rosie, who, what did we have from a week and a half ago? So she says that the Minneapolis shooter who shoots up a church, kills 2 kids, that, well, he's a white nationalist who backs Donald Trump, and she spews all the things she did. Then she comes back and she's like, I apologize, I was wrong. I'm like, yeah, it was a tranny.
Yeah.
All right. You had a trans woman pretending to be a woman. It was a man. Who actually couldn't stand being trans and felt like they were...
Wrote that in the manifesto. And then the other thing, did you see the video of him going into the gun store?
Yeah, it looks like a man. Was done being a woman.
Totally done with it. The only thing that even stood out to me had like the little weird scrunchy hair bow kind of thing in the back. I mean, and I've seen dudes do it too with long hair. Use those.
No, basically, he looked like he was done with the whole trans thing.
Exactly right.
Like, I'm done with it. I'm not doing this anymore.
Shopping at the gun store.
Right. So, being that Rosie O'Donnell took the L on that one, then she decided to go on a podcast. And I will just tell you this. As of this morning, even a guy like Alan Dershowitz said if Trump contacted me and wanted to sue, this would be an easy win. Take a listen to what she said about Donald Trump over the weekend.
One person standing in the way of us all figuring out why his name appears multiple times in the Epstein files. We still don't know why his name appears multiple times in the Epstein files.
We do know why,
It's Donald Trump.
We all know why.
Yeah.
You have to know why. Why else do you think he paid $1 billion to Jeffrey Epstein over the time of their friendship? $1 billion. He wrote in his birthday book, here's to all the secrets.
That wasn't even real.
Which we already established with the New York Times had to pull it and go, yeah.
Yeah, it's not real. It's all made up.
And so he gave him $1 billion.
Yeah, somebody would notice that.
I mean, a guy who's worth like $4 billion, he just gave him $1 billion.
Yeah, I mean, it's just 1/3 or 1/4 of his wealth.
How crazy must you be? But this is the trough. Okay, they go to this certain trough. These people that are hardcore left, like this is what they go to, and then they establish their own set of facts. Like the very premise that, well, Donald Trump appears in the Epstein files a multitude of times. Yeah, you know what? He's actually in some of the grand jury testimony. You know what it is? A woman saying he actually was never around.
Yeah, and you had the lawyer saying that he's the only one that's ever assisted. He's the only one that ever gave us the time of day.
That has shown up. Like it is in there.
Ask questions.
And so when you say his name appears in the Epstein files, yeah, as a woman who, when asked, she's like, never was around, didn't know this guy, never did anything that was improper.
Without context, sounds real good.
Yes, I guess.
When you get the context, all of a sudden things change.
I mean, I guess if you wanted to, there's a certain point where, Carlos Medina appears in a police report. Yeah, I witnessed the car wreck and I gave a statement.
That's what I'm saying, without context.
But he was in the police report.
Yeah. Without context.
That's the idea behind all this stuff. So, but this is what the Tarlovs and the Rosie O'Donnell and the Aunt Pegs, this is where they feed at. And then they make up their own information. By the way, if you go over to Walgreens, it'll even tell you COVID-19 vaccine update. This season's COVID-19 vaccine is now available and is approved for all ages, all adult ages 65 plus, and those under 65 with certain health conditions.
So you're telling me it's available. Jessica Tarlov needs to go back on Fox and the 5 and be like, yeah, I guess I need to correct this since I'm so wrong again.
Book your flu shot today. That's available through it as well.
No, thank you. I think I'll pass on all that.
10% off groceries, eligible on select vaccines, including COVID-19, RSV, flu, and more. That's from Giant Eagle Pharmacy.
If you'll get your COVID vaccine, so we get greased by the pharma company, we'll give you 10% off your grocery bill. Get out of here, man. That's the worst deal of all time.
Well, if you take the cancer injector,
we'll give you 10%
We'll give you 10% off your groceries.
What do you think?
You can go.
Thank you.
I tell you what, take your SV40, and while you're doing so, make sure to pick up all the processed meat you can possibly handle.
If you can find yourself some Lunchables, I'd recommend getting those too. The kids will love them.
The kids will love them.
Oh, man, these people just have no idea which way's up, and they continue to out themselves. That's the thing. They do it so publicly. And it's like they don't realize that they can be fact-checked in real time. As soon as she said that, something tells me there are people on social media going, this doesn't add up. This isn't right.
Wouldn't you just, if you're sitting in that chair, if you're in that position, don't you want to be absolutely ironclad with what you're bringing up?
I would like to think so.
Like, I would like to think that my argument, now we might have a difference of opinion on the argument, but that my argument is based on fact, based on law, based on the situation, based on precedent. I'm not just coming up with something that I heard somebody else say.
Yeah.
Because then at that point, I'm leaving it to somebody else to make the decision. It's like I used to have a program director a long time ago in radio, and we would talk about taking phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, phone calls have a direction with every radio show. Like I said, you're always welcome to give us a call here. But when you would have shows that would be directed strictly by their phone calls, the programming director would point out, why would you put your future, your paycheck in the hands of somebody who's calling a radio show and that dictates what you're going to do?
Rush Limbaugh used to say when he did
He's taking the biggest risk in all of radio.
I loved that.
I'm giving it to you, rank amateurs.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, that's right.
Why would you let them direct what you want to talk about? So it's that concept of Jessica Tarlov is doing, like, letting Reddit or something like that, Mother Jones, dictate what she's bringing up, and it's just flat out wrong.
But dude, that's because that's what she wants to hear.
I guess
that's what
so.
she wants.
Or maybe there's got to be those people
that out.
There's just a way to do it. Like Scott Jennings is the minority on CNN. Why do people listen to Scott Jennings? Because he makes solid arguments. There's never a point where we're playing Scott Jennings audio going, wow, look how he got owned in that.
Yeah, man, somebody really took him down. He's the only one that never gets taken down because he speaks from a common sense point of view that most Americans can understand.
Like, I think there's only maybe a handful of times where I went, okay, you're a little out over your skis, but it didn't have anything to do with politics. It's like a pop culture reference.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I've never heard him do that.
It's like you going down the Marvel road.
Yeah, and trying to act like I know what I'm talking about.
Like, uh-oh, here we go. Here goes Tug.
I try to tell people what I know and what I don't. And then if I get it wrong, I get it wrong. Which I have plenty of times. But like you say, man, we just try to be well-read enough to not be lured down that road of completely getting it way wrong. You're not even close to right.
I would like to think, like when I do the Storytime segment, I try and deep dive into all that information. Most of these things that we bring up, we've already read so much on it, where if somebody out there who's covering it professionally has it wrong, then that's why we're going to get it wrong. Not because I didn't read.
No.
Not because I didn't research.
But Jessica, though, she doesn't care if it's right because what was said matches the story that she wants to paint or the image that she would like to paint. So it worked in her favor, at least in her own mind. She was like, oh, Mother Jones said this? That's exactly what I want to say. I'm going to take that to the air. Morning Extra at Extra 106.3. 9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999, 8779 Southern. SouthernExteriors.co. J.D. Vance's response to a reporter talking about the drug boat is incredible. I can't wait till he's president, and I think he will be one day soon. This is the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, September 8th. The Atlanta Falcons got beat in the final minute by the division rival Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Mercedes-Benz Stadium yesterday afternoon. The Falcons took a late lead before a late touchdown pass and a mixed extra point put the Falcons down by 3 in the final minute. Falcons kicker Younghoe Koo missed the game-tying field goal from 44 yards out. The Falcons now play the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday Night Football in Minnesota for week 2 of the season. From Major League Baseball, the visiting Seattle Mariners took 2 of 3 from the Atlanta Braves this past weekend, including an ugly 18-2 final on Sunday. The homestand continues as the Chicago Cubs are in town. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear that game live on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina. All right, forget about that guy. Let's do something a little bit different here. Let's talk about Exmark. And where do you get your Exmark equipment? That's at Howard Brothers. When it comes to mowing, you'll want to run the perfect play for your lawn. So get an Exmark. The mowers, they're built to perform like a champion. Legendary cut quality, unbeatable durability, and pro-level speed. Exmark helps you score the perfect yard week after week. Do not fumble this mowing season. Put Exmark in your starting lineup, available now at Howard Brothers. They're the team that has your back when it comes to your lawn, no matter what the season. The grass is always greener when you take care of it with Exmark and with Howard Brothers.
Oh no, what is that sound?
It's our rejection detection system. It's showing that several men across Georgia are being denied intimacy by their partners due to ED.
How can this be?
Well, it's more common than you think. As men age, their bodies change. And unfortunately, once they get over 50, some things don't work like they used to.
So what do we do?
There's only one thing to do. We need to get them to Dr. Eric Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. He can fix ED problems.
But how?
At Total Body Therapy of Georgia, they are experts in the P-shot, testosterone replacement, regenerative therapy, and Trimex to create an erection and more.
Hi, this is Dr. Eric Deal from Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Did you know that 50% of men over 50 struggle with some form of ED? Guys, it won't get better on its own. When it's not hard, it's really hard. But I can help you today. Call us at Total Body Therapy of Georgia at 404-777-1911 or learn more about us online at tbtofga.com.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. Okay, you're driving along. Suddenly you hear that horrible sound of metal and crunching. It's an accident. Even if it's a little minor fender bender, man, that could be a nightmare. First, obviously, take care of yourself. But before you make a deal with an insurance company or anybody else, call David Van Sant with Van Sant Law. You know why? Because he used to work for the insurance company, so he knows how to get the right settlement and right away. Van Sant Law. Don't forget, if you don't get paid, they don't get paid. Protecting your interests. Insurance is great, but it's complicated. 855-GA-INJURY or vansantlaw.com.
Join Daniel Madelon, CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Cowart as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around. It's not PR, it's not fluff. It's an honest talk about what's working, what's broken, and how to build a better path forward, one second chance at a time. This week's guest is Fulton County Sheriff Pat Labatt. Justice Unfiltered. Unfiltered, informed, and unbiased.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds, where we believe everyone deserves a second chance. Whether your loved one's been arrested in Cherokee, Clayton, or any of the other metro Atlanta counties in between, A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
Convenience is defined as the state of being able to proceed with something with little effort or difficulty. At RBM of Atlanta, we embody this definition. Convenience is our middle name. With school in full swing and after-school activities taking over all your available time, now more than ever, convenience is a must-have. Meet our Mercedes-Benz pickup and delivery service. It gives you back time and money. Does your Mercedes-Benz need service? If so, we'll pick up your vehicle that's requiring service from your home or office and bring it back to our dealership for those services. Once the services have been complete, we'll bring your Mercedes-Benz back to you. With over 110 appointments available every weekday, over 50 appointments on Saturdays, and more than 200 courtesy vehicles in our fleet, we're here to serve. RBM of Atlanta is a J.D. Power 2025 Diamond Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience. We're proud to be Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964. Pickup and delivery service restrictions do apply. Ask your service coordinator or service advisor at RBM of Atlanta for details.
You're great at protecting your own personal information. You probably even use things like two-factor authentication, strong passwords, VPN. But as much as you try to be in control of how your information is protected, there's lots of places that also have it. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every single second for identity threats. If your identity is stolen, a LifeLock specialist is going to help solve the identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code Beck at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Need a break from all the political talk? Tune into Holy Crap It's Sports with Pete Davis every weekday at 5:20 on The Kimmer Show. It's your daily dose of what's hot in the sports world, from the field to the locker room, with Pete's unfiltered opinion and a side of laughs. It's smart, it's funny, it's sports with edge. Holy Crap It's Sports. Catch it at 5:15 only on The Kimmer Show on Extra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. Download the app so you can listen live and on demand here on Extra 106.3. People, I guess, want me to be angry about J.D. Vance and the way he feels about taking out drug cartel members off the coast of Venezuela. I don't. I have no ill will toward J.D. Vance. As a matter of fact, I'm glad that I finally have a vice president saying, yeah, we're going to take out cartel members. Yeah, we're going to protect the American citizens from another 100,000 deaths from drugs and fentanyl overdoses. And for the people that don't get it or don't want to, I'm not sure what it is they want him to say. Do they want him to cower down? Do they want him to be like, well, I guess we should have asked, the UN what we should have done? Hell no.
Maybe we should have read them their rights.
Yeah, that's what. Well, but that's
they were heading this direction.
That's pretty much what the media said to them. Should you have treated this more as a law enforcement case, where you have the Coast Guard go up, make the arrests, and I was a part of drug ops aboard USS South Carolina when we did this. The Coast Guard took command of our ship because Navy captains don't have arrest authority and Coast Guard captains do. And that's what that's what we do. But I think this is a different scenario altogether. I would have been fine blowing up the drug boats then too. Actually, probably gotten a little bit of enjoyment to actually use the training that you'd had to make a difference.
Fire Private Tug.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But that's the thing, man. Working in the Combat Information Center, you would be right there when that
Private Tug. How does that boat look?
It looks destroyed, sir. It's sitting at the bottom of the ocean, from what I can tell.
1MC Private Tug has taken out another drug boat.
Yay! We're gonna give that man another medal. But seriously though, you have the people in the media like, well, you probably should use the Coast Guard and use the arrest authority, and then come and send them through the U.S. courts. I don't want them in a U.S. court system.
No, in fact, you have now, I think it's 8 different organizations that have been designated as terrorist organization groups.
Including Tren de Aragua.
You also have, if you just want to know a couple of other ones, you have the Jalisco cartel. Like, that's one of them. So's the Sinaloa cartel. They've all been designated as terrorist groups. Now, Donald Trump, as I was looking through some of my notes here, Donald Trump tried to designate Antifa as a terrorist group. You know what happened? You had the American court system that stepped in and said they're domestic. They can be looked at as a domestic group. They can be looked as a domestic terrorist group, but they have all the rights that American citizens do. When it comes to these terrorist groups that are operating at sea, that are trying to bring stuff in, they don't have due process. In fact,
I don't want to give it to them.
If you want to bomb them twice, when there's just people left in the water, it's just bodies. If you decide, let's bomb them again.
Let's make sure.
Not a problem.
Let's make sure we got the job
and that's
done.
Fine. This isn't for all the people that didn't say a word when Barack Obama bombed a 16-year-old American. Well, he's an enemy combatant. Wait a minute. You didn't have the right to do that. That was a domestic person who was actually a United States citizen. And nobody on the left said anything.
No, of course they don't.
But you couldn't wait for the rest of them to actually side with cartels?
Yeah.
Like, amazing.
Hey, wake up.
They're arguing on behalf of cartels.
They just continue to get it wrong. And, J.D. Vance posts on, I guess it was Saturday, killing cartel members who poison our fellow citizens is the highest and best use of our military. You got the Krasensteins, Brian specifically saying killing citizens of another nation who are civilians without any due process is called a war crime.
Well, they should have due process themselves.
That's right. What due process do you want to give them? They're not American citizens. And I love the fact that J.D. Vance hits back with, I don't give an S what you call it. I have no use for your opinion. Don't care for your opinion. We're going to do what it takes to secure America and make sure that drugs, at the best possible way we can, don't come here.
This is a 95-5, 90-10 issue. And the more that J.D. Vance jumps on these, like there's not going to be one point when we get to 2028 where someone's going to say, do you remember what J.D. Vance said, that he didn't care about us shooting cartel boats? You think somebody's going to argue that that's a problem? Do you think somebody who's been dealing with drug violence, drug issues in their community, or has had somebody die or OD from drugs that have found their way into this country are somehow going to take an issue with the fact that he doesn't care about taking out cartel members?
And let's take it one step further. His own background.
Yeah.
He's seen the...
He's a Marine.
Yeah. But I just
and
mean
he lived with
his
this
family.
stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. With his mother being an addict, and I think she's been clean and sober for 10 years. If I'm not mistaken, that was, remember during the RNC, he brought her out and he said, he's very proud of her, 10 years sober. He's seen what drugs can do to a family. So you expect him to be, I feel bad for these people that did what they did and put in this country these poisons that my mother was hooked on? No, thank you, dude. I want all of them dead.
In my opinion, you only need to bomb one of them. Now, if you do it again, okay. But this is about letting the cartels know that the full might of the U.S. military is now what's dealing with you. This isn't going to be, we're pulling you over.
We're not afraid to pull the trigger is what it's doing.
That's what it is.
Yeah. It's a show of strength. No different than renaming the department, the War Department, going back to was it pre-41?
Sure.
Yeah,
the Department of War.
Yeah, instead of the Department of Defense. When I heard that he was doing that, I was like, "Yep, that projects strength."
Yeah,
it does.
I mean, it's the same idea as Gulf of America. As much as you can say, it doesn't really matter. It's a projection of we're in charge of this. This is ours.
We are not pushovers anymore.
Department of War, it's because these are war fighters.
That's right, and we're going to come and show you how we get it done.
This isn't the Department of Defensors.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because what was it when they changed it? They wanted to have the projection of, well, we don't use our military for anything except for peace. We're trying to keep peace around the world. Donald Trump's like, we've done that for long enough, and it has not helped us, dude. Give me the Department of War.
I guess when it comes to this, and I will liken it to a movie. Did you ever see the great Clint Eastwood movie Unforgiven? Early 90s.
I remember the movie. I can't remember if I saw it.
All right, there's a part where, because he's an old gunfighter, and he spends the whole movie where he does not, he's basically kind of the guy who's beyond it now. He doesn't do that stuff anymore. By the end of the movie, he's had a tragedy happen to him. One of his friends has been killed, and he goes drinking. And now he's right back to being who that guy he was. Mm-hmm. And he shoots this person in the saloon. The person screams like, "Well, he was an unarmed man." He goes, "Well, he should have armed himself."
That's right. Absolutely.
And I look at that as we have been playing the weakling for as long as we have. Now you have a real warfighter who's running this thing. Now you have people that really want to portray American strength. If Tren de Agua did not want to get a missile put down on him, then they should have done something a little different. They should have armed themselves.
Well, yeah,
should have done something different.
Like Eastwood said.
Yeah.
But they've been running roughshod for so long.
Been doing it without a problem.
They never expected.
It's a different time now.
Maduro down there is going, OS.
Will Money is drunk and he's looking for a fight.
Dude, I'm telling you, they are not joking. This is a different day and time.
And I dig that. I'm like, enough of the weakness.
Yeah, that's right. I want to project, because that's the only thing that they recognize, dude. Yeah. If you're not dealing with the Chinese and with the Venezuelans and the Russians too, look, even throw Ukraine in there, it's fine with me. If you're not dealing with them from a position of strength, they will take advantage of you. And that's the only thing they recognize is strength. The Middle Eastern world is completely like that.
These are people that routinely will put headless bodies on bridges or will drop them off in front of places to send messages, and you think that they're going to respond to, Coast Guard, pull over.
Yeah, no, that's not the way it does, because they know they'll be turned loose 5 minutes after this thing is over and done with. And you talk about those headless things, man. Those cartels down in Mexico, they're full of that. They do that all the time. That's
they send messages
new.
like that just to freak everybody out.
Right. knowing that you'll back down and be scared.
They will drop off bags of just body parts.
Freaking nuts, man. You better respond with strength because they will. 9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999. 8779 Southern, southernexteriors.co for Los and Jure. I'm Tug. Y'all come back now. You hear?
Neil Bortz is only live on Extra 106.3, bringing you daily commentary on the biggest topics of the day. Catch him throughout the day or hear his latest on the Extra 106.3 app.
Atlanta, it's Mark from Atlanta Safe House. Can I have your attention, please? I have an important announcement. Our president has a backbone. Thank you, President Trump, for standing up for the American people. We sleep better knowing our country is protected. And speaking of protection, criminals laugh when you purchase a fake safe from a big box store. There's no better time to visit Atlanta Safe House and see what a real a real safe looks like. But wait, there's more. Now through the end of the month, save hundreds of dollars on all Browning, Fort Knox safes and vault doors. Drop by one of our locations or go to atlantasafehouse.com.